want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Take for their disease. Breathe just like a wind, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. With gods in the weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make
All right, guys, let's get this party started. If you want a reading, be sure and visit my stand store. It is linked in the description below. And as always, we have a fair use, a disclaimer. As you come in, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video if you like it. Let's get it going. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Astrology for Mystics with Jenn. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Good to see everybody here. Look at all you beautiful people showing up for your Jenn, showing up for your girl. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. Rakeem, look at you, honey. Look at you all in green now as a member with the watchers. I love it. I just love you guys. Hey, Shauna, good to see you, honey. Yes, subscribe, guys. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, be a part of the channel. Hi, Gemini. Good to see you, hon. Janice and Lynette. Orb Attraction. Women's Warrior, where you been? Where you been? I was just telling Jeff we need a good card night. Like, we need a good card night. Hey, Lynette, Janet, and Jill. Good to see y'all. Orb Attraction is my card girl, too. She gets on a roll and we just love her. So, hey, Hope Floats, good to see you, babe. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, guys. Okay, so we've got the last time that I left, I heard shots outside and Jeff was hunting a fox. But we thought that we lost one of the chickens, but our hen showed up. She showed back up. So he either got the fox or he scared the fox off. But we are happy that we didn't lose any of our hens. Thank God. It was crazy. It was crazy because I was just sitting here doing a live, and then all of a sudden I hear boom, and I'm like, oh my God. It's a freaking yeah, I'm so glad too, Jill. It was I hate, we got 10, but it's freezing. Yeah, it's like bipolar weather here in Tennessee. Um, I don't know. I don't remember where you live, Hope Floats, but yeah, it's yeah, thank God, right, Janet? Like, we have 10 and we just don't want to lose any of them. They're like our girls, you know. Our kids are grown and they're our girls. But this show um tomorrow is going to be dedicated unless something big happens in the Nancy Guthrie case, but tomorrow is going to be dedicated to um tomorrow night I want to do cards. I want to have a card night and relax a little bit before this coming up week because we're really going to be busy with the Sebastian Rogers case, who is missing out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. He went missing 2 years ago. It's going to be 2 years on Wednesday, the 25th. We got a lot of people coming in town. That's going to be a big thing. So tomorrow night, I want to wind down and do some cards and a good night. Tomorrow, I want to do a live about Sebastian. But today, I want to focus a little bit more on what it is that I'm seeing in the map, minus all the conspiracy. If I take out the conspiracy with the Epstein files, and if I take out the conspiracy with, say, the politicians, and I just focus solely, and it's really hard because, we do have the Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk case is not just a slam dunk, close and shut. I don't care what nobody says. I mean, we know for a fact that there is crazy things that is going on that has went on with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, as you know, was assassinated in front of thousands of people and probably, I mean, more than that because a lot of us were watching him on TV. Well, I wasn't, but a lot of people were. If we take his case and we think, okay, he and his posse, right? They were living in Arizona. That's where Nancy went missing. They were a part of, a big they are, Charlie was the CEO of TPUSA, and he was going against the grain. He was going against Israel. We know this stuff. Like, we know this. We can see the evidence of it. He was having a change of heart. He was repenting, basically, is how I see it. Repenting is when you're going one way and you keep going that way, and then all of a sudden you repent and you want to go another way. It's not feeling good. It wasn't setting right with him. Well, that ended up, in my opinion, is the reason why he lost his life. And we don't know truly what is going on with the Nancy Guthrie case. But if we take the conspiracy out, because I'm looking at all angles, I'm always going to be looking at all angles and trying to see, like, could they have picked her up on a horse, put her back on the, slung her in the back, took her off on a horse? Are we looking at a reservation? Probably not. Are we looking at some kind of Clinton shit? Probably not. Is it Jake Hoffman and the Democrats against the Republicans? Probably not. Probably not. And so this show is going to try to bring this case back down to maybe it's not a conspiracy. I mean, I know it is. I mean, I know it's a conspiracy. I don't know that she'll ever be found. It's that much of a conspiracy to me that I know it. I know it. I've done enough astrology. I've done enough cases that she may not ever be found. And that is what I'm calling a conspiracy, is we may never find her. Because it does have to do with a 26 degree that she was going through a Uranus return. At 84 years old, you're going through a Uranus return, and hers just so happens to be a 26 degree in Uranus in Taurus. A 26 degree in Taurus is not good. Google it. I mean, Google it. Any astrologer and every astrologer will tell you what was going on with her. She was born in 1942. I did a video about it. I did a video about her Uranus return. What was going on? World War II, Hitler, the atomic age, atomic, Oppenheimer. We know that we've talked about Oppenheimer in Arizona. We've talked about the stocks. We've talked about the mining, the crypto mining. There is a lot of that in her chart. There's a lot of that. But Kayla and Luke that you see up on the screen, Kayla and Luke are not boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, let's just get that out in the they're not boyfriend and girlfriend. They have been arrested together. They have been arrested together. They have done crazy things together. They were busted at Walmart, got taken to jail. Kayla is held in jail right now on bond. And if you look up her case in Arizona, she was supposed to already been seen in front of the judge, but she refused transportation. Now here it is. She is looking to be in front of the judge on February 27th, and the papers specifically say no matter by whatever means, she is to be transported on the 27th. She can't just refuse that day. So, she is going to end up going to court on unrelated charges on February 27th. We know that he's lawyered up. He says that he didn't have anything to do with anything. But there are countless times where people are Googling Nancy. They're Googling Nancy. It starts in June of 2025. It picks up again in December of 2025, again in January of 2026. And people are Googling her. There is a high number of people. Someone is searching her name. Someone is searching the map of her house, looking at realtor.com. There are people that are searching not just her home, but also her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, searching Savannah's how much money she makes a year, what her worth is, right? What her net worth is. I've also been hearing there's something that I want to see if this is I don't know. When I first started covering Nancy's case, somebody had come into chat and he said, "My son is going he's an investigator. Isn't it interesting, Janet? My son is going to he's leaving North Carolina. This is like 2 days after she goes missing. He's leaving North Carolina. He's going to help investigate this case." And he said, and he hasn't been back in the chat. I may have screenshotted. I don't remember. Probably not though. But he said that his son was going to investigate and that Annie and Tomas were behind on their mortgage and that he feels like that's a motive. And I was like, that would be interesting to see if that's really what it is. Is it really, something like that? Because, when someone goes missing, you look first to the family, the friends, the associates, and then you work yourself out. You work that investigation outward. So if the family is cleared, you know, if the family is cleared, then Who else? Who else do we have besides friends and associates? Uh-oh. Lee Bugs was Lee, did you mean to hide Rakeem? Because you hid her from the channel. Lee Bugs, did you mean to do that? Because if so, we're gonna have to undo that. We're gonna have to try to undo that. It's the only thing about oh my gosh. Somehow she was hidden, so we're gonna have to figure out. Yeah, see if you can figure out how to undo that. If one of the mods can try to undo that. Oh, um, because poor old girl, she doesn't. She she just became a member. It won't let you fix it? Okay. I'll try to figure it out. So anyway, Kayla and Luke know each other. Okay. Kayla and her boyfriend William, he's a career criminal. And look at this. Just look at this. Kayla, piercings by Kayla. Yeah, it's okay, Lee, but I've got to try to figure this out somehow because I don't want her to be hidden from the channel. Um, it's kind of like blocking her. So, um, Mallory, she is saying inspired by Mallory Knox from Natural Born Killers. And so William calls her Mal and she calls him Mickey. So Mickey Knox, Natural Born Killers. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Jeff was able to undo it. Yay, Jeff. Way to go. Yay. Thank you, Jeff. Um, so the Natural Born Killers, I've never seen the movie, but I do know that if we look at it's a 1994 film with Oliver Stone. And let me shoot, I thought I was showing that to you. Hold on. Here we go. So Natural Born Killers is directed by Oliver Stone in 1994. Mickey and Mallory Knox, two traumatized lovers who become notorious serial killers. And so the film focuses on this cross-country rampage and how the sensationalist media turns them into famous, idolized cult celebrities. So this is, and she is, like I said, she's in jail. She is not able to have a bond because she is a type of person that goes around selling, the Fent. She sells the Fent. They're with the Fent. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And William, her boy, 41 years old, she's 32, he's 41. He is he has been in prison for smuggling the Mexicans across the border into Arizona. He had a high-speed chase, hits a car head on, kills the woman, and he did 11 years of time. And so they are no relation to the family. They are citizens of Arizona. Of Arizona. So what happened is what the law enforcement is saying is basically this is that there were people searching for Nancy, searching for her. There was just tons of Google trends, okay? There was tons of Google trends, and they were searching for her address. They were searching for, Nancy's address. Here we go. According to Google Trends data reviewed by people, and there's been all kinds of reports where they were searching. People were searching for her home, Nancy's address, the layout of the home. They were searching how much money Savannah Guthrie makes each year, how much her net worth is. And so it would appear that's the reason why the law enforcement thinks that this is a targeted that Nancy was targeted. And that's the reason why I think that they have cleared the family. They have not cleared Luke. His attorney has cleared him, but the law enforcement have not come out and said that they cleared Luke. In fact, it could be because when they went to Luke's home, remember they went to Luke's home, they raided his home, SWAT, I mean, there was tons of SWAT going to Luke's home. Remember? Remember that? Going to his home. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they stopped at Culver's, that they went to their home. It's the same night that SWAT was at his house is the same night she went to jail. She went to jail right before midnight on the 12th. Is it a coincidence? It could be. But could it be that they are suspects? It could be. It really could be because when I pulled up the chart, guys, and I'm looking at the time frames that these people are searching for Nancy and these people are searching for Savannah. They're pulling. They're pulling. There are things that are and I've started putting that on the map, trying to see where they could have went because the perpetrator will show up on the map and help you find someone like me that's an investigator through this tool of astrology mapping the geometric angles. It's going to pull. The map is definitely going to tell the story. Okay. So that's where I'm at with this. And I want to show you guys some of the professionals and what they have to say. I think that a lot of people are still stuck on Tomas and Annie. We don't know that Tomas and Annie didn't have anything to do with it or that anybody else in the political arena didn't have anything to do with hiring anyone to take Nancy. But look, if there was a ransom, the ransom could be something different than taking Nancy. It could be something different. But you would think if these people are searching, Googling Nancy's address, wanting to see the layout of the land, you would think that the same people that are Googling Savannah's net worth and her net worth, they're going to be the same people that's going, they're going to want the ransom too. That they're not different, you know? They're not different. So, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I don't know what you guys think, but I want to look at it from all angles, and go, okay, what is the simple? What makes what is simple? Because we can make it as hard as we want to, right? We could make this so hard and we could go down all these rabbit holes. But what if it's just so simple? Right. I mean, could they be the ones that did the Google search? I think so. I think they could be. And I think that the law enforcement, that's where the data, that's what they need. They need this data. And if they can see that someone was constantly searching throughout, a period of time for Nancy's house, for the layout of her house, if they could see that not only they were searching, but they were also looking for Savannah's net worth, they were looking for Nancy's net worth, then it's possible that the person that took Nancy is also that same person. It's possible, you know? These two are a modern day Bonnie and Clyde, exactly. Modern day Bonnie and Clyde, but they want to be Mickey and Mel. They want to be Mickey and Mallory. That's what they want to be. She got a whole tattoo for it. She got a whole tattoo. I mean, they want to be that. I mean, what a goal, right? What a couple's goal to have. It just shows how immature they are. Just so immature to think that that's what your relationship's goal that's what your goals are. Okay, well, good luck with that because she's sitting in jail without bond. And the 27th, I mean, that's 4 days away. We'll just have to see what comes of that. Because I can guarantee you me and other people are going to be watching what happens to her at court, you know? Um because that natural born killers look, I mean, like what? You want to be that? That's your relationship goals? So you have thought about Kayla and Luke since the day their names came out, and I had screenshots from Kayla's Instagram before she deleted it, and it's wild. How can I email you? Jennifer T. Jennings at gmail.com. Jennifer T. Jennings at gmail.com. Yeah, because she did. After there was a lot of switcheroo, I heard. People were trying to screenshot before she deleted it. But yeah, there's the email. Yes, first one on June 2025. Hey, peace, love, Jeeps. Good to see you, babe. And BK was your second guess. Yeah, no problem. This could be the break. This could definitely be the break. So is this why that they've scaled things down? Is this why because they feel like see, I've never seen the movie, Sandy. I've never seen the movie, um but I bet it's wild. I'm gonna watch it. And I'm like, my friend that was sending me, Cajun that was sending me this stuff, I'm like, okay, so what happened to the bodies? Like, what did they do with the bodies? And she said they just left them. They just left them. They just left them out in the open. I was like, oh, okay. So that's what they would do if they were going to mimic these this couple, this goals. We got goals, babe. Let's go and do this. If they were going to mimic anything like this, then I mean, I've thought reservation. Maybe it's not maybe it's somebody that's mad about, the mining and stuff and her husband was a miner. Maybe it's just something like that, but I don't know. It's got us all stumped. But if we think about what makes the most sense, and because I can go down the rabbit hole, I mean, I can stay in that rabbit hole. I was born in it. It's just who it makes more sense, especially now knowing that someone was Googling her because a family's not going to Google her. A family's not going to Google how much money Savannah makes. A family member isn't gonna Google the layout of her home and get on realtor.com, and I mean, it was I think on, one of the times it was like 60 something times that they were Googling the same thing, and they were going down the rabbit hole trying to understand everything about her house, everything about Savannah, you know? It could be why she inferred Silence of the Lambs. Wow, yeah, yeah, she sure did. Sure did. Yeah, sure did. I wish I could drive 16 hours myself. We are getting more snow, so that could be an added plus to not be here, right? Yeah, are you on the road yet, Sandy? Or you're flying, I think. You're flying. I think you're flying, if I remember correctly. So check this out. I thought that this was kind of cool. This was sent to me. This is from Center Lines News. So credit is going to Center Line News. Let me go ahead and copy this. So in case you guys want to get in there, you can see it. But I want to play a little bit of this. Hey, lovable Mama Bear. Good to see you, honey. Good to see you. It's definitely those 2, Kayla and Luke. It literally looks like him under the mask. It does. Watch this. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like a white male, not Hispanic. And it could be, yeah, her Facebook is very odd, Lee. So it could be that, because Kayla's man is a scary dude. He did 11 years in prison. And her dude is William Hubie. Let me see if I have a picture of him real quick. Hold on. Let's see. A picture. Oh, shit. Dang it. Let's see if I have the picture of him. Let's see. Where's it at? Let me go. Let me pull it up in my pictures. Let me pull it up here. Oh, I thought I saved him. No. I'll show you his Facebook. I'll show you his Facebook. Because this is, whew, you want to see him. You definitely want to see who else could be playing a role. And it could be other people, not just these two, not just Kayla and Luke, not just Kayla, Luke, and William. It could be other people too, because William has associations with these Nigerians. I don't know. He knows a lot of people that are scary too. So they look scary anyway. They look scary. So here it is. Let me show you. Yeah. So this is William. He is on the left, the bottom left right there. He doesn't look that like that anymore. You know, in prison, you're pumping it up, you're getting beefed up, you know, and then you get out, you're all clean and well, kind of clean. Then you get out and you just go to nothing, you know. So this is William. This is William. He is out of prison. Yes. Mm-hmm. He is out of prison. And so William definitely has tats everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So if we look at the pictures, the photos, there's him and Kayla, couple of the year, big couple of the year, boo boo. This girl, he says, this is the girl I love enough to wear my hammer. Right there. That's where he grew up. There he is. This was in 2024. Grown man that just doesn't want to grow up. Just doesn't want to grow up. Hell's Angels. Hell's Angels. Looks scary, don't he? So this is Kayla's dude. Luke isn't. William is. And I'm not accusing William of anything. I'm not accusing Kayla of anything. I'm not accusing Luke. I'm not accusing anybody. That's for the courts. Get this news out there so we are all on the same page and we know paid. I don't know. Deserve some consideration and if they are actually William and Kayla talk about on their social media. I've never seen the movie, but it's creepy. I mean, come on, man. Like, and he's going to show us different photos. You know, we've got that one photo. Now this guy is using AI and he's doing some things with the photos and he's going to show us more. He's going to show us more photos. And this is Centerline News. Okay. Centerline News. So let's watch this for a second. Let's just watch this for a second, just so you can get an idea. And I have credited this channel, Centerline News, and this is called Nancy Guthrie, Kidnapper, Unmasked. Seen anyone like this? So you can definitely go and watch.
Through some imaging software that I had, I was able to go back to this original photo and then clear up the eyes and clear up what the mouth would be based on the other photo as well, where you could see the little lip there. So basically, this is why you can see now that from the original image, which again, this is his original eyes. We can go back here. You can see the original eyes. Now see this little thing here on his eye? You're going to see that coming forward, and you'll see this little debit right here, okay? So pay attention to this little clevis and this little debit here, because when you jump here to the real photo and it gets cleared up, you could see this. This is going to be a key thing that the detectives should be looking for, because the person's going to have this little mark here when you look at them, and same with this.
To me, it looked like the guy actually had a top lip that was like a thinner top lip. I don't know. What do y'all think? To me, when I kept looking at it at the original video that they were showing us, it looked like that the guy had a thinner top lip than what he is showing here. It looked like it was a lot thinner. What do y'all think? And be sure and hit that thumbs up. It's okay if you haven't yet. Just go outside the live, hit the thumbs up, come back in. I would really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this great channel, Astrology for Mystics with Jen. You'll never find anything else. It's a different type of channel, guys. All right. Just hit that thumbs up for me. I would really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up because it helps the algorithm. But what do y'all think? I'm thinking that it's the top lip to me was thinner. Yeah, fuller eyelashes too. There were fuller eyelashes. Yeah, I noticed that too.
And this area down here,
Hey, Cinderella, good to see you, babe. Yeah, I agree, Sophie.
reason why, as you can see. Now remember, this is the same eyes as this photo. Haven't changed at all. Just cleaned it up and re-imaged where the mouth should be. Okay. And so now we've got this image. So I got to here. So I said, okay, next thing we're going to do is going to identify really what color this, they call these different, we call them a ski mask in the old days. There's a new name for it. But then I went ahead and colorized it. So now you really got an idea of, see this person's eyes. You still see the same mark here. You see the same, like we all get them as we start getting old. It's a little down here and you see little spots. But now you can really see. I'll go back here. You can see I started with this, cleaned it up, added color, and now you can see I went ahead and started to come up with some different designs on what this person's face could be. So I'm going to go ahead and let you see what we've come up with. Now, again, I'm going to take you back to the very first of this image. That's the image that I made. It's his eyes, okay, and the mouth. Now, all AI is doing is bringing this to life. So let's start it. Okay, see the side angle? It's the same eye. So this is what really should be able to help identify this person, because clearly,
yeah, he's going to show you more. So he's going to show you
very close, and it ends up finishing
pictures,
back to where this person's eyes were. Look at it. Start. This is finished.
Yeah, just hold on, Jennifer Wilson, because he's going to show you different images that are not going to look alike at all. Just wait for it.
Back to
yeah,
start.
It is freaky.
Start, finish. Start, finish.
Yeah, he's going to take.
Remember, this
is the original. It off here, right here.
So
here we go.
Let's go forward. This is what I think the guy looks like. Now, again, if you look like him and you didn't do it, I apologize. But again, you could see it.
Yeah, I mean, this one it's either like Native American or Mexican. That's the way it's looking.
It's the same eyes as the photo. So basically, when you start going, you start seeing all these photos have the same eyes and the same mouth. So work with me. There's the same eyes, same mouth. Same eyes, same mouth. Same eyes, same mouth. Same eyes, same mouth.
But it would be nice if they would. So it would be nice if they would like make it look like a white guy. Why can't it be a white guy with dark hair? Why is it? Why are we constantly seeing, and I'm not knocking this guy at all. I'm just wondering why we aren't seeing a white guy too, like where we could see a white guy with brown eyes, a white guy with the facial. And there's something else that I was thinking to myself too. What if that, what if the mustache and stuff, what if that was drawn on to throw it off, to make it look like, to make it look like he actually had a mustache and stuff and really didn't? What if it, because the whole mouth is showing, what if they drew it on? How can we tell if they really drew it on? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just seems it's I don't understand how they can get this, exact. Let's watch it again, see what he's coming up with. And it's just, you don't have to believe any. It's just we're just looking. We're just, looking at
Apologize, but again, you could as the photo. So basically, when you start
doppelganger. I don't know. We can definitely see that there is this common theme for either a darker skinned guy. What if it's a white dude? What if it's a white dude? What if it's, what if they drew it on?
you start seeing all these photos have the same eyes and the same mouth. So work with me. There's the same eyes, same mouth, same eyes, same mouth, same eyes, same mouth, same eyes, same mouth. Remember, see the round eyes. They're round.
It looks like the head is changing. Like I don't know that. Like it looks like he's got the. And I don't have an AI software. Army vets, you may have one, but I would be interested to see what you come up with yours.
These photos have the same eyes and the same mouth. So work with me.
But
There's
see,
the same
and to me
eyes, same mouth.
the okay, so now see that's a thinner top lip, but what if? Like what if dude drew it to make it, throw people off? Facial recognition software extracts a mathematical template called an embedding. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm so clueless to this stuff. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But what about the color of the skin? The system measures the facial geometry, but what about the color? What could it not be a white dude? Could it not be a white dude? Why do they think it's a darker skinned dude? You know? I'm just wondering here. Yeah, Brian says Luke is the one on Nancy's porch. I
It looks
I
like.
think he
Now,
is
again, if you
too.
look like him and you didn't do it, I apologize. But again, you could see it's the same eyes
Yeah, Luke is the dude.
as the photo. So basically, when you start going, you start seeing all these photos have the same eyes and the same mouth. So work with me. There's the same eyes,
Hey, beautiful Sharon.
same mouth, same eyes, same mouth,
Same eyes,
same
same mouth. I think we're done with that. Same eyes, same mouth. But look, that is closer looking to Luke. You know, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking that, Luke is going to be the dude. I think that the law enforcement has not cleared Luke. Okay. He's not clear. He hasn't been cleared. The family has, but Luke hasn't. Kayla's still sitting in jail. Her honey boo boo, he is still, I don't know where he's at, but he's not in jail. He's probably across the border. He's probably across the border. So if we look at that, right? If we look at that and then we look at Luke, we look at Luke, he looks he looks like our guy. He looks like our guy. There he is. Boom bam. Look at that mouth. His mouth, yeah, Luke lawyered up. His mouth to me looks just like the guy. Looks just like him on Nancy's porch. Looks just like him, guys. And she looks like a schoolgirl over there. That's a long time ago. No, that is definitely not her today. That is definitely not her today. Kayla is definitely, she's looking like a sweet schoolgirl there, but she is definitely not that. Nope. Nope. Their goals, her goal was to be like the natural born killers with her boo boo, William. So I think we could be looking at several people here, like several people, and not just them three, maybe more, guys, maybe more. because she's something else. Let me see if I can find her again. Hold on. Let's see. Well, I already showed you guys the picture, but let's move on. Let's move on because I want to this interview room with our good old detectives, the FBI. Chris McDonough I love Chris McDonough. I love listening to Dr. Gary. They come with a lot of experience. They come with a lot of, professionalism when it comes to dissecting. If you don't know who Luke is, I can't help you. You haven't been following the Nancy Guthrie case, guys. If you don't know who Luke is, come on now. We got to be cooking with some gas. All right. Luke is the dude that they raided. SWAT went in and went to his house. And the same night, Kayla is locked up on unrelated charges. Yeah. So you've enjoyed their chats. Yeah. I mean, they definitely do their, we just, it's a different type of perspective. And we've got to get all of the perspectives, and not be stuck on just one perspective. But it seems like, yeah, astrology don't lie, but people do. The maps don't lie, but the people do. And we'll be looking at this map because I've started putting William, and I had the birthday wrong, so I had to take him out, but I've started to put him back in. But I can already see it, guys. I can already see it. It's very, I mean, it seems like it's coming together like a donut. So this is the interview room. This is why predators target elderly victims, what the Nancy Guthrie case reveals. And I think that they are still on the fence about Annie and Tommaso. I think that they're still on the fence with that, but it is what it is. But let's just listen to them just a few minutes, okay? Just a few minutes and see what they have to say because I think that it's worthy of playing again, okay? Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it.
Technically speaking, as Chris is fond of saying, you don't even have to leave the house yet in terms of, in an Occam's razor kind of way. Now, there's been this clearance of the immediate people around it, but that doesn't.
People waste 1,400 hours a year scrolling on their phones. With
Sorry,
Purdue
guys.
Global, you can turn that time into
rule out all kinds of people that might have known her in ancillary ways. And so I'm very, very interested. But Ann, that's such a fascinating idea. So you're putting out there that it's possible that somebody was sort of targeting Savannah through the month. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, jealousy. There could be.
Which opens up Pandora's box, Ann, right? For the guy in LA.
Oh, golly, yeah.
The fruitcake that they, the feds took off pretty quickly. And Gary and I and many others have had this thought now. When you read the affidavit, anybody that's ever written these things knows that, it's very well wordsmithed, right? At the very end, they talk about, let me read this because this has been a thorn that's been sitting in my saddle, for a couple of weeks. And I think the verbiage in of itself is what really gets me. So here's a guy, I'm not even going to name him. He's under indictment. He's in Tucson. He's already appeared a couple of times.
Hold on.
However, and so I kind of want to tap into that and get your feeling on that. But so here's just a high level run on Nancy Guthrie. She was her birthday was January 27th. I'm going to give a sequential timeline real fast. She hung out with her girlfriends, and she also cooked shrimp and grits that night. They made beignets, and her girlfriend name was Chris. On January 30th, just 2 days before she vanished.
That's right.
She played some, I don't even know how to pronounce this, M-A-H.
Mahjong.
Thank you. in her living room with some of her closest friends. Before they said goodbye that Friday afternoon, Nancy checked with one of the players and a longtime friend, making sure that they were still on to watch church at their friend Vicky's house on Sunday at 11 a.m. So she's communicating with her friend.
And I have pulled those friends. I've looked at I've got their addresses on the map. I've got some of them have adult kids. I've looked at their kids. And I've looked at everybody, and I just keep going back to Luke and Kayla. Luke, Kayla, and William. I just keep going back to them. Like, I just can't. Were they paid? Were they? I don't know. My goal is to find Nancy. That's my goal, is to find Nancy. But this is it's just wild. It's just wild, guys. Just wild. But this is what she did. She had just had a birthday. Nancy had just had a birthday. She was celebrating her birthday with her friends. Bless her heart.
She's playing games with her friends, and everybody is keeping an eye on one another. So we can see that, that friend group is extremely important. Sunday at 11 a.m., Nancy and her friends gather at one of their homes to watch a recording of what is called the Good Shepherd Church service in New York City. So she is 11 a.m. in Mountain Time to watch this video that is recorded in New York. It's close to you, Gary.
Yes, very close.
In the Manhattan area. That's the church that Savannah also attends. And so mom wanted to continue to watch those services, probably with the idea of seeing her daughter in the crowd. We never know, right? The women in Tucson even have wafers and grape juice on hand for communion. So they set up their own little communion as a friends group to watch this service. And when that part of the mass is going on, they actually pass around those items. February 1st, Sunday, Nancy was always punctual, quote unquote, from the girlfriends. Always punctual, never missed. When she did not arrive by 11 a.m., her friends texted her and then called, and neither of those communication methods got any type of any response. They contacted Annie, her daughter, who went to Nancy's home, and that timeline, that number is kind of confusing. The sheriff has not pushed it out what the exact time frame was, other than to say that at 11:56 they went over to look for their mom. Annie went over to look for her mom, and she was not there. And then the 911 call comes in at 12:03.
Chris, are they saying Annie went over there alone and not with her husband?
Well, he's vague on that. That is a great way to kick this thing off. He's been very vague on this. Okay. And he's also vague on the other communication point that the drop off the night before, he said it was either the son-in-law, and then he said it was both of them. So that's kind of a mystery as well.
And then a third time he said, "Are we just going with family?" And they nodded yes.
Press conference. Great point. Great point. Yeah, I'm glad.
Right, Army vet.
Good. Everybody caught that. Okay, so here is Nancy in a nutshell. She loves to read, always had a stack of books on hand. Years earlier, Nancy taught Bible class study. When she was younger, she embraced the outdoors, playing tennis, hiking, and joining spin classes. As she got older, but as she aged.
And just so you guys know, the guy talking, Chris McDonough, he is a ex-FBI. I mean, he knows what he knows his stuff. He and Dr. Gary, Maureen, and this is a good panel. And so if you haven't subbed up to the interview room, you should. Okay. You should definitely sub up to them because they were really good.
These things became much more difficult. Nancy had a pacemaker and relied on daily medications, and she began using a cane and powerful hearing aids. The girlfriends made that really important that we understood that. Powerful hearing aids. Without her hearing aids, her
Okay, how about this? How about we do this? Those of you that are coming in, go ahead and get out of the live, hit that thumbs up, come back in, and tell me if you know who Luke and Kayla are. Because if you don't know who Luke and Kayla are, I'm going to go back over it one more time. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. She has just dropped the link to the interview room. If you don't know who they are, put a 1 in the chat. If you do, put a 2, because I keep seeing people saying, "Who are they? Who are they?" And that's like, okay, if you've been following the Nancy Guthrie case, I don't understand why you wouldn't know who Luke and Kayla are. But I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all telling you who they are. Luke and Kayla. Okay, let's go over it one more time. Let's just go over it one more time. So Luke and Kayla. Let's go ahead and stop this screen. Hold on. Let me get the other one up, guys. We're gonna go right back over it, okay? We're gonna shoot, hold on. Let me show you guys who they are. And I just received some more photos of Kayla that are disturbing, quite disturbing. And I appreciate the person that sent it to me. But here is Luke and Kayla. Okay, here is Luke and Kayla. Let me see. This is Luke and Kayla. On the right, of course, Kayla is looking like a schoolgirl, but this isn't really what she looks like. This was a long time ago, okay? But she has a record, he has a record, and they're not boyfriend and girlfriend. Kayla has a dude named William Hubie. He has a record. And they're not good people, obviously. But let me remove this and show you this photo of Kayla. Let me show you this one. This is her. And she says piercing, this is her Instagram. Piercings by Kayla. Love this tattoo. Inspired by Mallory Knox from Natural Born Killers. So her and her dude, hey Cajun, I'm trying to explain who Luke and Kayla are. Luke and Kayla are friends, and they have been busted together at Walmart. And it could be the same Walmart that this stuff could have been bought from. I don't know. But they've been busted at Walmart. They sell the Fent. They have a lot of close associates that do the same thing. Let me pull up another one that I just got, this photo. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this photo. Let's look at some of these photos of her. So we've got the house of whatever that is. Love Kills. This is her stuff. Okay. This is her. I mean, she says she's been waiting her whole life to do this. Okay. You've been waiting your whole life, honey. She's been waiting her whole life to do this. Right here. Oh shit. It's not showing. Here we go. Hold on, remove that. Add this. There's hooks, if y'all can see it. Let me try to make it bigger. It says, I've been waiting my whole life to do this. She's got hooks in her back. Like, this is a thing. What is going on here? You got a hook in your back? Why is this why is this even legal? Like, what the hell, man? What is going on here, guys? Okay, so let me try to break it down one more time. So Luke, his house was raided by the feds, by SWAT. Okay? Luke and Kayla, this girl, they're buddies. So that's how they're related to the Nancy Guthrie case, because the law enforcement believe that they are related to the Nancy Guthrie case. And so I'm just showing you who they are. I mean, like their personalities, just getting to know them a little bit. We can see their records. We can go onto social media and we can see their social media, but it's stuff like this that was on her social media before she took it all off. But she still has her stuff that's been, yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, my God. Masochism or something like that. Okay. We do need to find a video of how he walks for real. So this is Kayla. Okay. Okay, so you can let the law enforcement know that, Soul Reaper. Okay, yeah, nah, sorry, this is grasping that Charles. Tell the law enforcement that, okay? Because they went to Luke's house, many cars deep. Okay, they got his car, they got his Range Rover, they went to his house. She is being held on bond. I mean, without bond. She's being held without bond. I mean, 2 plus 2 equals 4. It does. And Kayla's boyfriend was indicted, went to prison for 11 years for bringing illegals over the border. There was a high-speed chase. He gets in a wreck, hits a woman head on and her kids, kills her, and he spent time in prison. Now, Kayla and Luke are buddies. They've been busted before. They've been behind bars before, doing the same, criminal activity that they do. And Kayla and William, her boo-boo, her boyfriend, her husband that she calls him, they want to mimic natural born killers. She's got tattoos on her to mimic that, in honor of the natural born killers. And what they are is they are serial killers. I haven't watched it, but I've never watched it, but it's strange. Okay, so this is just strange. This is just some of the photos of her. Just some of the photos of her. This is her hanging from hooks, and she is enjoying this. I mean, maybe it's all that great, maybe it's, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't look like it's fun to be hanging from hooks on your back. Shit. This is her again. This is the kind of people that she hangs out with. This is her crew. It looks like her boo-boo back here. I don't know. But this is her. More photos of her. This is the kind of girl you want to take home to mama. Oh gosh. Love kills. I mean, everything is for her is deep, it's dark. And Natural Born Killers is deep and dark, She's hanging from a cross here, upside down. Hanging across. This is in Arizona, by the way. And I definitely want to find this exact location because she likes it. She's hanging upside down from a cross. Witchy, witchy, witchy. I mean, people think what I do is witchy. No, this is witchy. So that is Kayla. And she is, buddies with Luke, who was, he's lawyered up now. lawyered up. Yeah, it's evil. It's just sickening to me, you know? I mean, it is what it is. But that's what, you know, it is creepy. It's creepy, guys. We just can't, you know, we just can't, you know, I've been looking at mines. I've been looking at abandoned mines, but that place where she was at, hanging upside down, that's where we, you know, I really want to put that on the map. I really want to put that on the map because maybe, you know, maybe them mines, you know, maybe so, but I don't know. Thank you, Jaywood Mimi, for the super sticker. Thank you, babe. But I'm just, this is, you know, I was looking at mines today and I'm like, now I think I'm better look at where she was hanging upside down on the map. And I need that location. And I think that the person that sent me that picture gave me the location as well. Well, they're not. They're building a case. They could definitely be building a case. Hey, April, good to see you, honey. Good to see you. I love seeing you. Anytime you come in here, I just want. The FBI can't be that stupid. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they are. I don't think, you know, if maybe they are building a case, maybe they're building a case with Luke and Kayla and trying to not rock the boat in order to find Nancy, in order to bring her home, whether she is deceased or alive, you know? Oh, no, I wouldn't be going there by myself. I'm talking about like putting it on her map because I've created a map for Nancy. I've created a map for her and I work on it all the time. It's if you've never been to this channel, then you have no idea. There's a map that I've been working since she went missing. And when I knew that the Culvers could be a good place, I just didn't know that it was going to be a place where they're gonna, you know, pull Luke over and get the vehicle. But mapping the maps that I create work when they're worked by the law enforcement with the information that they know, and the law enforcement isn't telling me the information that they know. So I'm just working it by myself with, you know, the chat people that come in here to work it with me. But anyway, so I wanna listen a little bit more to what Chris McDonough and the professional team has to say because I think that they bring a lot of clarity to the case. Even though they're not talking about Luke and Kayla, they're talking about who would be, you know, who could be a suspect in this type of case, right? So I think that they deserve these professionals. Chris has done, I mean, he's done phenomenal work in the FBI, so he knows a little bit about something, you know. Here we go.
Her hearing aid, her hearing was very diminished.
Well, you would think so, Triple J, you would think so, but okay, so her dude. So let's talk about this because I was hoping that that would be the case, but then I got to looking at Williams' Facebook, and he is big on the code. You know, that code where you speak no, you know, you don't say anything, you didn't see anything, you don't know anything. Well, Kayla has been refusing to even go to court. And the latest is she is going to court on the 27th. No matter how they have to take her, she is going to be transported. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I don't know if you're talking about me or the interview room, but interview room is a great, they are so good. They are so good. And, you know, a lot of times Chris and Dr. Gary, they'll go to the lab. It's too late for me because Josh stays up too late, but the lab, Chris and Chris McDonough and Dr. Gary, they'll go over there too. Um, so, you know, that's and they just discuss and they ask questions with each other and talk it out. And it's really good. It's a really good, mature discussion about cases, about all cases that, you know, that we're interested in, that we, the people, are interested in. So that's that. Here we go.
According to her friends. In recent years, she often stayed home. She wrote in her journals and on her patio. She played Wordle and read books that when publishers sent the books to Savannah, Savannah would give them to her mother to read. So whenever Savannah got a lot of books, her mom basically would read them, and she was part of a book club with all her girlfriends. And my mother-in-law, who is 87, is also part of a book club, and they've been together for 50 years as all the gals. So she was still sharp as attack, not only described that way by the sheriff, but by the girlfriends.
No, we're not saying that she snitched, Liberty. They're just saying that they hope that she does, and I don't think that she's going to.
And she rarely complained about back or medical conditions or other types of problems. She never missed a monthly book club meeting.
So she was a creature of habit. So Nancy is a creature of habit,
years. So that's a high level run on the victimology. And now here we are. We're 21 or 22 days into this now. She's still missing. She's still out there. So I'll just kind of open it up for general impressions on Nancy. Thoughts, and I'll start with you, Dr. Burgess, and then we'll go ladies first, and then Maureen.
Okay. Well, one of the things that has impressed me is somebody had to get in that house, right, to take her out. And so what are the points of entry? One is the one that we've all seen, the where the camera is removed. But the one that I don't hear a lot about, and maybe somebody has more information, is the garage. And the garage is one that gets opened. Now, if we want to look at this as someone who is targeting her in a abduction approach, that is the easiest way to get in. Would be either to know that. I think that if she used that a lot, that would be another thing to try to find out her usual pattern. Did she always come, enter, and exit through the garage, or at least come back in that way? Didn't seem to, obviously that night did not, as far.
Oh, heal in with Anita. If you're still here, honey, no, I'm talking about career criminals that are career criminals. Yeah, Luke was let go. Kayla was not. Yes, we all agree with that. Yeah, we all agree. Luke was let go. He lawyered up. Kayla was not. She was able to be held without bond, okay, on unrelated charges. That has been said a lot. But she did not go to court again. She refused to go while she's being held, Liberty. She refused to go, and they rescheduled her court date for February 27th. Saying, you get her there however you need to. Because she's being, maybe she's detoxing. I don't know. But she is not trying to go to court. But she's going to court on the 27th, and I can't wait. Because somebody is going to have to crack. I just don't know that it's going to be her. And that's sad. They may go to their grave with it if Nancy's not found. They need a body, As
far as we know, come in the front door. So
sounds like an informant, Army vet says. Yeah.
Does the person come in there, get into the house, be there? I've had a number of cases where the guy gets in, he gets into the house, he gets familiar with the house, might even do that and not do anything, but then later does.
Yeah, Liberty says that her boyfriend, Kayla's boyfriend, that's not Luke. Her friend is Luke. They're friends. But Kayla and her boyfriend are some of the most dangerous people in Arizona. She's not gonna, I don't think she's gonna talk either.
So somebody that's familiar enough to know the habits. Right,
Eric?
That's something that I wanted any kind of discussion on, because I think, Chris, you've given a good outline of her kind of her usual habits, type of personality, things like that. And that the hearing is a problem is important, because she would not necessarily hear somebody in the house or whatever, because the next timeline you get is into the early morning, when the person's seen on the camera.
Right.
So something happens between that 9:15 that she gets home and the next timeline.
But nobody
garage
says,
door
but nobody
closes.
says that they saw her go in there, like from the video. But I'm assuming that they did. I'm assuming that they did, because they've cleared the family. They've cleared all family. Kayla is in no relation to Nancy. It's just a rumor that people started. She is not related. I've looked at it. Cajun has looked at it like, I mean, like crazy. And there is no relation to Nancy. But what there is there is a relationship between Kayla and Luke, who, you know, like I said, I mean, there was tons of cars. I mean, we're talking about deep. I mean, feds, SWAT, like guys, they were just swarming his house deep in, looking at everything, taking, you know, taking samples, taking DNA, doing forensics on shit in his house, you know? And she's being held without bond on unrelated charges, but you know how that is. They're trying to get her to talk. They've got her. They're trying to get her to talk, and I doubt she's going to talk. And the only thing, you know, I don't know how they can find Nancy if none of these people are going to talk. You know, they're just going to have to get a break with the DNA. But even then, where's Nancy? Is anybody going to give her up? You know, that's the biggest problem. Yeah, they live close to Nancy. Yeah, they live close. Well, Kayla doesn't, and her dad owns a excavation company. Kayla doesn't. I don't know where Kayla lives. I just know that her last address was at her dad's house with the excavation company. So dad said to leave message to the kidnapper because they're watching. Empty mine shafts do, but and they know, gosh, they know. So Kayla and her dude, William and Luke, they know the area so well, and they know how to get in and out of the border easily. I mean, Arizona, whoo, all the places that you could hide a body. Uh. And if, you know, the desert is such, she just, you know, I'm concerned that she's never going to be found because of them, you know. But it's sad, you know, it's sad. But I mean, I've started putting the mines that I've started putting closed mines on the map, and it's just like, you know, they're not hitting like I would want them to. The guy in Range Rover was Zach. Well, I thought it was too. I thought it was Zach. I thought it was the guy from I mean from Arizona, but you know, the accountant. But he sold the car. So Zach sold the car to Luke. And they pulled Luke over. Because at first I thought it was Zach that they pulled over, but they didn't. They pulled Luke over. Yeah. The Range Rover is definitely Luke. Is definitely Luke. Zach is the one that sold the Range Rover to Luke. And then Luke was pulled over at the Culver's because I was like, no, Cajun, because Cajun was like, yeah, it was Luke. And I'm like, no, it was Zach. And she said, no. And so I did my research and I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking it was Zach too. But look, Zach has connections too. Could Luke and Zach know each other? Could Zach be in all this too? It's possible. It's possible that there was multiple people involved. We just don't know. But the more that you have involved, you run the risk of somebody talking, you know? So Oh, thank you, Healing with Anita. Thank you, honey. I hope you have hit that like button and I hope you've subscribed. No, I mean, it did seem like because it did seem like that Zach, the guy from Dubai, it did seem like that it was him that got pulled over, but it wasn't. It was actually he had sold the car to Luke, and then Luke is the one that got busted. I mean, they got his car. They did forensics on his car. They went to his home. Deep. I'm talking about, we saw it. We saw all the cars go into Luke's home. Well, the same night before midnight, right before midnight, I think it was, Cajun, correct me if I'm wrong, but right before midnight, Kayla gets locked up on unrelated charges. So interesting, interesting. In the dispatch call from that night, they stated they would detain him before he got into his neighborhood. I'm paraphrasing, but his neighborhood. Yeah. Yep. And they couldn't hold him without any evidence. But what they wanted is they wanted to get all the forensics done, send it off, then let that tell the story, because they can't prove anything, but maybe later on they're going to be able to prove something, that took place with him, his friend Kayla. And then we have to go and see, okay, so Kayla is probably not going to do anything without her boo-boo William. So I wouldn't think so anyway. The way that they look on social media, the way that they are so in love together, and the way that they want to mimic um, natural born killers. Just saying. Don't know. Oh, I thought that the raid was the 12th. Well, yeah, okay, gotcha. Kayla was arrested on the 12th. Raid was on the 13th. So are we talking about before 11 or after? Either way, I mean, it's the same thing. Not the same thing, but it was right in together. And they're buddies. They're buddies. They're friends. And so you think, okay, was this friendship? Why all of a sudden did they go and pick her up right before midnight? Yeah, I'll have to look at the charts. I'll have to look at the charts because I know that it was the 12th for her. It was the 12th. I'm pretty sure that that's what I've got when she was booked. Valentine's Day. Okay. Who is Kayla and Luke? Everybody that keeps coming in, who's Kayla and Luke? Who are they? I do too. I hope she's found. I do. I do. Isn't Kayla NG niece? No. No, she's not. That's a big rumor that was started and people ran with it. The people ran with it and yeah, so the raid was okay, so the raid was the 14th. I've got it all charted. But she was I think it was right before midnight that she went in, that they booked Kayla on the 12th. So Kayla and Luke, it's okay, Tammy. Nancy Guthrie, who is missing out of Hendersonville. I mean, they do. So I heard that they still have their vehicle too, like as evidence. So but they're cleared. So I don't know. No, Kayla is not related to Penny. Not Kayla is we have looked and we have okay. Okay, so let me send this to my Gmail so I can show this to you about everything because everything gets so confusing, Everything just gets so confusing sometimes. And let me send this. Hold on. So I can show you guys this because I want us all to be on the same page. Okay, let me show you this. Let me show you guys this. Just 1 second. Okay. Here we go. So let me make sure y'all can see it. Nope, you can't. Remove. Here we go. Okay, so the SWAT raid at the home of Luke Daly occurred on the night of February 13th, 2026. FBI agents and Pima County deputies served search warrants and detained Daly and his mother, who were later released without charges in connection with the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona. So this took place on the 13th. All right. So this took place on the 13th, not Valentine's Day, on the 13th. The day before, the night before, on the 12th, right before midnight, Kayla Noel Day is picked up from wherever, and she was taken to jail on unrelated charges, being held without bond. And she has not gone to court. She refused transportation, and now they have reset her court date to the 27th, and she is definitely going to be going, no matter how they get her there. They want her there in court on the 27th. So here's the thing. The only reason why anybody we could so if we take a look at these two people, and then we look at their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their associates. She was booked on unrelated charges as far as like fentanyl and things like that. They are very familiar. So Luke, okay, Luke and Kayla are buddies. They've been arrested before. And those arrests, you know, the trauma bonding, they know each other. And they have other friends, have other associates, have other boyfriends and wives and, you know, husbands or whatnot. So these people in Arizona, they've lived in Arizona, they know Arizona. They've gone back and forth from the border of Mexico. So if there is any involvement in taking Nancy into Mexico, it's them. It's them. It would be them. And there was Google searches. I began this live and I was saying there were Google searches for Nancy's house, the layout of her house. There were Google searches for Savannah Guthrie's net worth, how much money she has. That's the reason why the law enforcement says this was targeted. That's why the law enforcement is saying, I guess, is saying that this is targeted and that the family doesn't have anything to do with it. That this was a targeted kidnapping. Mean, hateful. And Kayla and her dude are supposed to be, I mean, they're pretty, I mean, they're dangerous people. They want to, you know, their goal as a couple is to mimic natural born killers. So, you know, what relationship goals is that? It's some pretty shitty ones, you know? Zach sold his car to the dealer on the 7th. That's what he said in a message. I have a screenshot. Zach sold his car to a dealer. Oh, you're more than welcome to send it to me. JenniferTJennings@gmail.com. Hey, Julia, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. That's what I heard, that they still have her car. If they're cleared, could it be that there is some type of relationship with them? Because I don't know their finances. We don't know their finances. I've heard that Annie and Tomas are behind on their mortgage. I've heard that Nancy was behind 3 months on her mortgage. So there's some type of financial rumor, you know, these rumors that are going around that I can't collaborate. I can't confirm that anybody is behind on their mortgage. But there, you know, could it be that there is, these people were Kayla and Luke and William and all them, they are into the, the drug world. I don't know about Annie. I don't know her. Everybody picks their own poison. I don't know what her poison is. I don't know what Tommaso's poison is. They got kids. I don't know. Or they got a kid. Could they have hired them? I don't think so. I don't think so. And this is why, is because if it's true that there was a Google search in June, in March and June, December, January, if there were these Google searches, they would know the layout of Nancy's house. They would know all of that. Yeah, and when you get a federal charge, they take your DNA. Yes. The only thing that I can think of, if we're not getting back matches, is the only people that I would know that may not be submitting their DNA, like Ancestry and stuff like that, or a federal, if they don't have a federal charge, would be somebody on the reservation. But still, it just doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense, and we're all just trying to come together and talk about it, trying to figure it out. What could it be? But they definitely went deep into Luke's home, and we just can't unsee all that. We're talking about SWAT, federal agent, one after the other. I'm talking about 30, 40 cars, it seemed like, that were going to his home. The neighbors were freaking out. They were like, what's going on here? It's late at night. And you got all these feds just showing up, just bombarding. Told them to leave, get out of the house. We're coming in. We're looking. We got, and then he lawyers up, and I don't blame him for lawyering up. He needs to. Luke definitely needs to lawyer up. He definitely needs to have a lawyer. But why? What was their reason? What led them to go there? Okay, so Kayla gets locked up on the 12th. They raid his home on the 13th. Just makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. So the holster was from Mexico, and they're saying that it's from Walmart. The holster was from Walmart. I don't know who would wear their firearm like that, but it's nobody I know. Nobody I know would be wearing their firearm right there. Liberty, I just showed you it was the 13th, babe. I just showed you it's the 13th. Let me show you again. It's right there. Right there. It says the SWAT raid at the home of Luke Daly occurred on the evening or the night on the 13th. It did go into the 14th. So you may be thinking about the 14th. You may be thinking about the 14th. But it does say the evening of the 13th. I'm about to Google it again. Hold on. Because we're Luke Daly home raid on what day? There it is again. So what day? It says on the 13th, honey. Well, yeah, it was the 13th. It was the 13th and ended up going into the 14th, right? Oh, you're saying the 13th was Friday night. It was. It was, but okay, so it was the evening that I remember. So it went from Friday was the 13th. That's true. So Thursday would have been the 12th when Kayla was locked up. And I think that that's where the confusion is, because they went in before midnight. They went in before midnight, right? So let's go back. Hold on. Yeah, because y'all know, sometimes this, let's look at the news. On what night? I've got it. I've got when she was booked, but I don't think that I've got when the SWAT raided him, but I may have that chart. Okay. On what night Was it Friday the 13th? Let's try to help it out here. It's not showing it. Let's see if AI knows anything. Jeez Louise. The raid began on Friday night, the 13th, and continued for several hours into the early morning of Saturday, the 14th. So that's what I remember too. I remember it taking place on the 13th and them going deep into that neighborhood of Luke's. And I was staying up watching it through the early morning hours of the 14th. So it's both is right. The 13th and 14th, but it began on the 13th. So it began on the 13th of, taking that Range Rover, because both Luke Daly and his 77-year-old mother were detained for several hours during the execution of 2 search warrants. One was his gray Range Rover that was also searched and towed from a nearby Culver's parking lot. And I've put that video of me talking about that Culver's and it being an arrest. There could be an arrest at the Culver's, and it's because the map's not going to lie. It's gonna tell me, it's where the FBI is rising with an arrest. So the FBI not only got him at Culver's, but then went to his home. So it started on the 13th and it went into the early morning hours of the 14th. So I think that we can all be on the same page with that. So they were released without charges. Him and his mother were released without charges, and his attorney has stated that Daly has, quote, no link whatsoever to the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. But that is not what the sheriff has said. That's not what the FBI said. And it's like ever since that took place, now that the family's cleared, and it's like they are waiting on forensics to come back. So it's almost like they possibly could be building a case against Luke and Kayla. Because like I said, she was arrested on the 12th. She was arrested on the 12th. Right before midnight. So she's arrested right before 12th, before midnight. So going into the 13th. So she's arrested on right before midnight, and then it hits the 13th. Then it hits Friday, the 13th, right? Then it hits Friday the 13th. And then he's pulled over. Okay. She's arrested on the 12th, right before midnight. It hits, she's booking. I mean, she's not even gotten into her clothes yet, and it's Friday the 13th. So all day, Friday the 13th goes. He gets pulled over. They go into his house. Is it possible that she said something? Maybe. Possibly. I hope so. But then she is supposed to, Kayla's supposed to have gone to jail. Gone to court. She refused transport. So now her court is scheduled for the 27th. And they said on the documents, it says to get her there by any means possible. She is to go to court on the 27th. So looking forward to that day. Looking forward to it. This is my email right here. Jennifer T. Jennings. If y'all have anything, feel free to send it to me. Feel free to send it to me. And I'm not saying that any of these people are guilty, that they have anything to do with Nancy. I'm just bringing it to you and letting you decide what you think, letting you, 300 people dropped off during that exchange. 300 during what exchange? There is a connection to Penny Guthrie for it to come up in a public search. Yeah, but it's not. It's not. Oh, I see what you're talking about. The exchange about the Kayla. Yep. Yep. About the date. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that it's important. It's important. We all got to get on the same page. We all have to know exactly what was happening. What's been happening, you know? What's been happening? What has been happening is that there are things going on, I think, behind the scenes. FBI is keeping things close to their vest, you know? Yeah, the whole situation and this poor woman been gone for way too long. Way too long. Is the chat wild, April? I'm not even looking at it, babe. I'm trying not to. So, this is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at. I don't know that they owe the cartel. The cartel moves differently. You know, the cartel to me just moves, they would move differently. They're not, I'm not, the cartel, like, look, the cartel just took 10 Mexicans from Mexico. They're in Mexico. Okay. These Mexicans, they are mining. They take 10 of them. They're mining for a company in Canada, for Vancouver. These 10 Mexicans were found. I think they were 5 of them were unalived. And they were found in shallow graves. The cartel that's how they're going to work. I don't think that they really care about feelings and ransoms and all of that stuff, you know? Do y'all know that just the day before Nancy was taken, that there was a kidnapping for a ransom? Just the day before. Did y'all know that? Just the day before in Scottsdale, Arizona. Just the day before. From kids. From kids. They were busted. I mean, obviously they were, they're in jail now. Just wondering if y'all know that took place the day before. Let's get back to the to Chris McDonough, because this is actually a really good panel to listen to for just a little bit more. Just listen to it a little bit more. Because here we go. They're talking about the garage door. Chris is stuck on this garage door.
It was at 9:50. And also, I think the other thing that's important is how quickly the police are called. That when the family gets over there, at least Annie gets over there, something is so alarming to her that immediately call. That wouldn't necessarily have to be. I mean, people might take a little bit more time, call around and so forth. But look at how fast. It's only like 7 minutes and they call the police.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a curveball at everybody tonight, which I think is the first time anybody has talked about this. And that's why I think you guys are going to be perfect for just what you said, Ann, right? Going into the garage, okay? But when the friend said she likes to sit on the porch and write in her journal, nobody has spotted these 2 other doors.
Aha.
And nobody's talking about these other 2 doors. So I want your guys' opinion because we see this guy, right? Let me pull this up a little bit bigger. Okay. This is where she sits in her habits to write in her journal outside. And there are 2 other points of entry into this house. Now when I first saw this picture, as I zoomed into it, I assumed that could have been water or something like that. It's not. It's a tree. It's a big tree that hangs out into the courtyard. So it's kind of deceiving that it's not some type of pattern or anything like that would cause us alarm, right? Just for the record, so that guys and gals in the chat, that is not any kind of suspicious activity. But so with your point, Ann, about the garage, so now we have the front door, we have the garage. There are two blue doors in the back of the residence. And now we have these two doors. And then, of course, all the windows. The sheriff has been very vague to tell the public what the point of entry is. And to me, I don't understand why. So what say you guys about this potential in relationship to, do you think this is in play in any way, shape, or form? Maureen?
Well, we would have to consider that it's in play, but from all the initial reporting, and if you hadn't seen it, there every news agency and their brother had drones up that were circling the residence. There didn't appear in any of that footage to show any broken windows, anything along those lines. The only thing we heard in a presser was that the back door was open. And we don't know if it was completely ajar or whatever. But I do know that the front door is one of those ornate wrought iron gate doors, or like a screen door that's really, really difficult for those of us in law enforcement, really difficult to breach. It can be done. Obviously, we oftentimes would use a winch or some breaching tools, but it makes a lot of noise. And then behind that is a very thick, like hickory or oak Spanish style door. So that front door, the assailant walked up and took down the camera. And so I believe it was part of the plan, no matter what happened after that, because that's where the video ends. I don't know what happened after that, but I do know that that was the planned egress route. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Was someone else in the back? I don't know. But if I were going to try to break in, I would test these doors. I mean, I think we can all agree that people leave their sliders unlocked. I think older women that live alone tend not to, but I could be wrong. And you've got all those windows along there. But it looks like there's a pretty good size, or a 4.5 foot, 5 foot pony wall around there, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to throw a curveball. Nobody's talking about these. Nobody's talking about these doors. Interesting. Good eye, Chris.
There is a brick pony wall jump around there. And you can see that.
Yeah.
See the red bush in this particular photograph here. Gary, weigh in here. What are you thinking?
Well, I want to comment quickly about a couple of things because we're moving very quickly through a lot of different subtopics. So first of all, that victimology that you presented is conspicuous to me because what's missing is any information whatsoever about the dynamics between her and family members, and anything at all that might have gone on in terms of her finances, her will, who was the executor, what was going on with power of attorney, if anybody, etc. And this is very problematic because we can't get a clear picture of if anybody, not even necessarily family, just people who were around her, anybody from the pool guy to the mailman to the whatever, might have had some personal reason to have any hand in this. And I do believe, I've been convinced from day one, that there is probably some nexus between some amateur hour kind of goon or goons that were involved and somebody who knew this woman. And in some way, ancillary way or in a close way. So I think the absence of that information, and I'm sure, Ann, you would echo this from our victimology work,
Sure.
is very conspicuously missing. The second thing is I was thrilled to hear that she kept a journal, because there may be clues in said journal about some heating up problem between somebody approaching her for money and her saying, pound dirt, pound sand, I'm not giving you a penny, somebody who threatened her, etc. So that's very helpful. The other thing I think we have to say when you're talking about the victimology is extremely important is that one of the things I heard buzzing around for a while when this first happened was the question, and I see it in the chat too, the question of whether she could have been targeted for sexual purposes. And a lot of people immediately said, well, that's improbable. She's 84 years old. Now, I can tell you, and we'll have a lot to say about this too, we've done research on the topic. The truth of the matter is that if you look at the literature, the little literature that exists, there actually is a little spike in the octogenarian years of being targeted sexually, but it is generally by people who know you very well, and it is generally extremely violent. So that what you tend to see is, like, a family member turns on you, assaults you, and we see heavy beating and other kinds of awful things that will happen. It doesn't tend to be like a Richard Ramirez situation where you break into a house and assault a stranger, right? Where he did attack some victims that were that age, but it was very unusual. So, but I think I have not heard anything at all that suggested to me that that was the motive, that there was a sexual motive. I wondered it, as did you, I know, Chris, when they were looking at fluids, and it was unclear what that might include. I did wonder about that. And I wondered what you think about, just to sort of give your professional opinion on it, what do you think about people in the public who insist that she was targeted by somebody who would probably be serial in nature, by the way? You don't, if you're paraphilically attracted to an elderly woman, unless she's totally random.
Yeah, well, that is very interesting. The cases, and it's really Mark Safrick who has done the research on elderly murdered women, and he's got a database of about 120. And what seems to be is they are murdered sexually. These are all sexual cases, but they're left at this residence. They're not abducted, so that they can be targeted and they can go in and commit the acts. But
It could be. It could be. I mean, y'all, look, I mean, it could be that it was the semen. I mean, it could be. I hope not. People have some weird fetishes, right? They have some weird ass fetishes. But yeah, this is it's in my description. It'll be linked. It's linked in the description below. So you can find Chris McDonough, the interview room. You can find that. They would not take the body. That's what they're saying. They don't think that the mixed DNA, I don't know. I mean, we don't know. I think that this right here is let me show you this. Wait till you see this. This has just come out that was sent to me. Wait till you see this. This is going to throw a curveball now. Let me show you guys this. This is from Michael Ruiz. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yep, you can. And he's saying, breaking, this is 20 minutes ago. A source with knowledge of the investigation just confirmed to me that these two images were taken on different days and may show the same person. These were taken on 2 different days, could show the same person. And people are just saying, oh my God, this case just irritates me. Oh my God, it could be the reason why. Could be, if this is true, it could be the reason why the law enforcement wanted people to look at their ring cameras going back to the 11th. Yeah, nothing about this case is cartel. It doesn't seem like a cartel at all. So, could this be? This was just put out 20 minutes ago. A source with knowledge of the investigation just confirmed to me that these 2 images were taken on different days and may show the same person. Is this at Nancy's house? I got questions. Got questions. Is this photo taken from the 11th? And that's the reason why the law enforcement wants the neighborhood to go back to the 11th because he was there on the 11th. Said this from day one, not the same day. This is January 11th. Wow. Where did that go? So it could be that the guy didn't even break in. Looking, I don't know. Like this could be this. All of this could be from the 11th. Like what? Yep, that's why they were looking at the 11th date. Somebody said, excellent job at JLR Investigates for getting the confirmation. We can tell it's a different night because of the lighting. I also think it's a different person because the one without backpack has a belly. Well, I mean, it kind of looks like the same person to me. Looks like the same legs, same shoes, same gloves. I think that this could be, I don't know. Talk about a curveball here. Could be the curveball. Something ain't right here. Mm-mm. Interesting. So this is somebody says if this is the case, then he knew there was a camera, and it seems like he would have brought something to break the camera, not grab a weed. Yes, there was a full moon in Leo. Full moon in Leo when she went missing. Full moon. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have two different. Is this the same? I mean, like, is the video that we saw? Is that it's so confusing. This is so confusing. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, somebody says this isn't breaking. We've all known this. It was January 11th. They were just regurgitating old news. Investigators are now requesting video footage from January 11th between 9 and midnight regarding the Nancy Guthrie case. Also, Saturday, January 31st between 9:30 and 11, suspicious vehicle on the Via Entrada around 10 a.m. Please check your recordings when submitting blah blah blah. So that just makes the fact that he wasn't prepared to cover the camera even more strange. If he was there prior and knew the camera was there, why wasn't he better prepared? I mean, what y'all think about that? What y'all think? Like, what the what? Y'all, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought I was really, on top of this case, but I didn't know that it was from the 11th. Okay, so was this also the 31st? Was this also the 31st? So we've got a full moon on the 31st. Was this only on the 11th? That doesn't make no, it couldn't have been. He's a dumbass. I mean, is this I'm saying, April, like what? Okay, so hold up. Hold up now. The video the video was the 31st. Yes or no? Look closely, zoom in to backgrounds. Look like a wheel hub and car. Look how dark the sky is in the photo with no backpack, no full moon. Nano said nothing on camera. FBI found stuff. Nano stuffed investigation. Like what? The what, guys? What? Somebody is talking about a wheel hub right there. Could be a wheel hub. So this was on the 31st. So what about the 11th? Yeah, the video is from the night she went missing. So the one on the left is from the night that she goes missing. So now we are supposed to now it's the one on the right that was on the 11th. So he came around, he snuck around with the same attire, being the boogeyman. This one on the right. For what? Did he get scared? He ran off. He just wanted to check out the scenery. And then he comes back on the 31st. Like, make this make sense. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely dark. But the way that the light and the different photos. I mean, I could take a photo of somebody at night and it show up in a different type of light. So, okay, so let's all get on the same page. So the one on the left is supposed to be on the 31st. And the one on the right is supposed to be the 11th. Y'all are looking at different men. So you think that it's different dudes? They just kind of look the same? Because it looks to me like they got the same shoes on. But no, they're two different dudes scoping it out. Yeah, doesn't sound like a smart thing to do either. Yeah, I'm like, what? Kim Zeller says, same dude. It's the same dude. Look at the wall. Too, it's different. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, you can't see his eyes in this one. So if we really wanted to base everything off of what we're really seeing, you don't even see eyes in the one on the right. Behavioral intent, danger. Why wouldn't her camera have alerted? One is zoomed in also, yeah. They released only what they wanted us to see. Yep. They are wearing layers of clothes. Hmm. Tomato turned the alerts off. Oh, tomato, 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 tomato. Look at you becoming a member. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the Watchers. Welcome to the Watchers, honey. Welcome to Watchers, babe. Welcome, Tamra. Tamra's in the house, a member of the Watchers. Appreciate you, honey. You'll never find another channel like this. She hid in the closet. Reverend Donna placed herself in the home. She did a reading on it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Reverend Donna. I'm so confused too, April. I've thought about that. I've thought about that. Well, then she needs to go and find it. She needs to go and find it. She said Mexico. That's what I heard anyway. I do not watch Donna Serafina. I do not watch her. The things that she has said about Sebastian Rogers, it's a no-go for me. Read the last one. Oh. What? Read the Cajun, are you talking about on read the comment? You talking about the comment, Cajun? Well, let me see. Let's read these. Hold on. I think Cajun's wanting me to read some of these. No, we one of a kind over here. Yes. Yes, and layers of gloves. Okay. No, his post right after that one. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. The image with no backpack was taken before this. Okay, look. Hold on, let's look at these. It also means that whatever the FBI and Google did to recover the video doesn't only show the last event recorded. Wow. This is merely a twist. It's a force multiplier. 2 images on different days give investigators twice the data, twice the context, and twice the opportunity to identify Nancy Guthrie's abductor. Let's see what else he's got. The image with no backpack was taken before the suspected abduction of Nancy Guthrie. Source declines to pinpoint the date, citing the open investigation. So they don't want to give the date, but we are getting an idea that it must be the 11th, right? Strange though that it wouldn't have alerted her, because aren't they supposed to do that? Like, aren't they supposed to alert? Wow, they definitely have more than they're saying. So, they're investigating. So I'm still wondering if we're looking at Luke and Kayla. I'm still wondering if we're looking at Luke and Kayla and their gang. She may not have had alerts turned on. Damn. I've thought Luke and Kayla from the moment they said there was a relation by marriage. What about the Google searches? I know Brian went out there to Mexico. I know I'd mentioned that. What if they took Nancy to Mexico from Massachusetts? And this case is so off, girl. I'm saying, or guy, whatever. Mine alerts me even when the wind blows. Right. Yes, they did find another backpack. Yes. We've looked for all kinds of any type of relation with Kayla. We can't trace her mother from Kayla's mom and Kayla's dad. It doesn't go to the Guthries. So we got problems there. When it comes to, there's no, I mean, I know that there's a lot of claims, but when you do the genealogy yourself and you try to find the parental and you keep going down that line, it doesn't go to the Guthries. So, hey, Witchy Mama, good to see you. So I'm thinking that when Savannah came, I'm thinking that when Savannah came, that it just put more interest on Savannah and her mother. I do think it's a target. I think that they have the simple, I can go down the rabbit hole like anybody else, and I've went down it. I put it on the map. I've thought about it. I've looked at it. But the thing that makes the most sense is Kayla, Luke, William, their little gang. And it just so happens that the day before, someone was kidnapped by some kids with some crypto currency ransom. And that was in Scottsdale, Arizona, the day before. So could these kids have also been Googling them? We know that this person is not a kid. And when they say that they have taken DNA from inside the house, we don't know if it's blood or if it's semen. You got a bunch of weird people. They like kids, they like elderly people, I mean, so many people are saying that there's a relation, but this is one thing I'm certain on that there isn't. I've deep dived it into all of them. Most people don't even have the right mother for Kayla. Exactly. Right. I mean, Cameron flew a fighter jet. F-17 for 26 years for the military. You know? Why? Yeah, I mean, why? What is the motive? We are all looking for the motive. We're all looking for that. It's like, why? Why take an elderly lady? Do you just not, I don't know that Luke and Kayla have jobs. I know that she pierces, she works at a tattoo shop and she does piercings. And I know that her boyfriend or husband, William, does tattoos. And then they sell on this, they sell. That's really they're dealers. They're dealers. And they know Arizona. They know Arizona. They know how to get in and out of Mexico. I mean, her husband, whoever he is, William Hubie. Oh, yeah, there's really a connection because they show it on their social media. It looks like ICE agents at the door. Luke have a job? I'm not sure if Luke has a job. I think he door dashes, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. But it just seems like the most simple. William works at a dealership. He did work at a dealership. He worked at a Chrysler dealership. He worked at a Chrysler dealership, but I don't know if he still does. You think somebody took her for hire? Yep. Somebody hired him. Look, if you are big into the political scene and you want something done, you're going to go to the the career criminals that make their living, you know, as a career criminal. That's who you're going to go to. You're going to go to past convicts that haven't changed their life around. That's who you're going to go to. You're going to hire those people. You're going to lure those people. So he worked for his mother a bit too. And, Luke Daly, his mom and dad, well, his dad is deceased, but his mom was a counselor, marriage counselor, I think. It's not Luke's family that owns the construction company. No, it's Kayla's. Kayla's mother and father own a excavating company. That's Kayla. Kayla Day, her parents owns a excavation company. Luke's family, Luke was adopted, and him and his brother were adopted. Not blood brother, they were adopted. His adopted dad is passed. They are now retired. His mother is now retired, and they worked for a mental health. They were marriage counselors. I've got it on the map. I got it all on the map. Talk about it all the time. Yeah, excavating. Yeah. I bet her dad is really proud. His business can plummet now. It could have been something, it could have been, yeah, they were both therapists. and Luke's parents were both therapists, and his dad is deceased. So when they say that he and his mother, 77, were pulled out of the house and detained for questioning, 77. So she and her husband were older, and they adopted the 2 boys. They're not the 2 boys, Luke and Matt, they're not blood brothers, but they adopted 2 children. He got into Luke got into a lot of sports that were, I think biking and things like that. And he got multiple concussions, and they blame his problems. They blame his problems on the severe concussions that he has gotten throughout his life. So somebody says it's ICE agents. Yeah, we would like to see a video of him walking. It would be great. I don't think Luke is Lucas, but he may be. He may go by Lucas too. I don't know. But his name is Luke. Luke Anthony Daly. And he's lawyered up. His attorney says he absolutely has nothing to do with it. And maybe he doesn't. But Kayla is being held without bond. And her boo-boo, I mean, they've been talking, about the things that they want to do with their relationship. Be like, notorious, what is that? Natural born killers. So Annie's car was towed. And we don't know if it's not impounded anymore. People have been trying to find out if they still have it in evidence, and nobody has been able to find out if they're still holding it as evidence. I mean, perhaps they were. And look, I'm a part of that conspiracy theorist group because it's hard to deny that you have a high profile, journalist, Savannah, who has covered the Epstein case. Millions of documents drop. Her mother goes missing. I mean, it kind of seems like, it's just a coincidence. You got the Israeli ambassador coming to Arizona the day that she goes missing. You got a lot of weird things going on the day she goes missing. And full moons are notorious for people going missing. Full moons, the moon plays a part in people's behavior. So it is what it is, sweet. Yeah. Yep. You think they know? They just can't find him. Maybe this is why it's not making sense, because people are wanting it to make sense. They want it to be simple. I want it to be simple. I don't want to think that this is some kind of conspiracy, but look, are our political peoples, the red, the blue, the gray, whatever, I mean, are they trustworthy? Is the FBI trustworthy? Are these people trustworthy? No, they're not. They go onto an island with little kids. They're not trustworthy. So we're going to trust them in this. Okay. All right. We're going to trust them in this. It's baffling. It's baffling, guys. It's baffling. Yeah, he's retired. So you heard the FBI dropped 16 gloves after the sheriff sent one to Florida. There's no telling. There's no telling. I mean, yeah, it's just violence. This could be nothing but violence. Just somebody just being violent. Wanting to be violent. There's crazy ass people in the world. None of it makes sense at the moment. I'm saying, April, none of it does. It's cray cray, guys. it's just crazy. You know, we're all coming together for Sebastian Rogers this week, who is missing out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and he can't get this much coverage, you know, because his family aren't rich and famous and, you know, and I'm happy. It's not that I'm, you know, I'm mad or I'm upset that Nancy is getting all this coverage. I'm so glad that she's getting this coverage. All of our missing need it. All of the missing need it. You know, we need that. I'm constantly mapping the missing. I'm constantly talking about the missing people that have no money, that have money, you know, and we just, yeah, here's Sebastian's flyer. If nobody click the link, go to, you know, uh, be a walk-in billboard for this young man. I mean, he went missing when he was 15. He's 17 now. It's just, and it's the same thing. No evidence. Don't know what happened. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Nancy's neighbor across the road said they didn't ask if he had a camera. Wow. His house doesn't see Nancy's house, though. There was a 28-year-old female missing Christmas, 0 coverage, just found her floating in a river. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's just like, I'm happy that Nancy is getting this coverage, but it hurts my heart for all the families that want it so bad that don't get it, you know, that don't get it. But look at how many thousands of people every day that are waking up to see what's new in Nancy Guthrie's case, you know, so it's the attention that it's getting too, you know, works both ways. Works both ways, guys. It's all who you know. It's all who you know. Barb, what's up? Barb is in the house. Hey, honey, good to see you. Good to see you, Barb. Have you seen this? I've been dealing with Mexico. Videos claim that police received a report of a floating body on Saturday. Is this true? Why the adult protection card? People have been talking about that, but I think I think that people said that it was actually put in the door after she was reported missing, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I just don't know. But I wanna get okay, so I wanna get back with Chris, guys. I wanna get back with Chris for just a second. Yeah, hit that like button. Thank you, Alicia. Hit that thumbs up, guys. Come on. It's free. Someone should check and see if there was a lien on her home. Why didn't it sell in 2017? Realtor would know. Yep. Yeah, and I would like to know for sure because Chris McDonough, he is saying that there is mortgage payments that are behind, and I need receipts for that. Like, I need to know the receipts. I need to see where they're getting their information. How can we find that? You know, how can we find out if she was behind, you know? The finances is what we really have to, and you know that the law enforcement have looked at the finances. They looked at every they should have. I mean, you would think so. You would think so, right? You would think so.
We'd have to ask him. I never remember him saying that any were abducted. So that part that's the curious part. I think the other important thing I wanted to say is the people you also want to look at is who does the cleaning in the house and who does the yard work, because as we just saw, there's a lot of brush, easy places to hide in that what Chris put up initially. And we certainly have had cases where it's never the person that does the work, but it's that they tell another person how to get in, about the person, et cetera. And that can be a possible enterprise type of crime when we're just looking in general for motive. I think that speaks to motive. So that's what I'd have to say on that.
But Anne, do you agree that the probability is that at least someone involved in this story had previously encountered this victim? Or do you think it's possible, in the way that some people are speculating, that somebody just targets her for a robbery?
Okay, so Chris's wife is the one that found that information about, because look, I was thinking that it was Annie and Tommaso that was behind on their mortgage.
Or for sexual reasons, and breaks into the house and abducts her? Because, I mean, Chris and I have talked about this at great length, but we're pretty comfortable saying that somebody has crossed paths with her before.
Yeah,
in this story, but I wonder what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's someone local that knows the area. I think that's been said. But I think that the person knows, if doesn't know her personally, certainly knows of her, watches her. It's easy targeted area to keep under surveillance. And I feel that that's would be one of the things that whomever, and I do think it's more than one, have to be more than one to get her out of the house. Has knowledge of her and has watched her, knows her habits, probably knows, certainly knows about going to church on Sunday. And evidently, maybe Saturday nights were pretty typical too, where she'd go out for dinner and then come back in and use the garage and come in.
Right.
So I agree with you all that, yes.
But just to kind of cross our T's and dot our I's, because I think a lot of people are really, I know a lot of people are very eager to hear what we have to say about the sexual possibility. I just want to be clear that in our work that we've done
Right,
on
she's lived
elder,
in that house for decades. That house shouldn't that house be paid for? Shouldn't her house be paid for by now? I mean, her husband brought in a lot of money. I mean, she's got her house. I would think that it would be paid for. Why refinancing, and why is there, allegedly this, 3 mortgages on it? I mean, none of this is making sense. Her house was paid for, and he took a loan, bought a new house. So could that be what it is? That, maybe that's what it is.
crimes and so forth. It is extremely unusual. Let's say you were dealing with a serial offender who was very organized and would abduct people repetitively and take them someplace to do things. It's virtually unprecedented to do that with an elderly victim. I'm not aware of any case. I looked in my own data. I can't find any case where an offender removed an elderly victim from the home and took them someplace for sexual purposes. Not one. Have you ever
No,
heard of that
no,
happening?
I agree. I don't know of that. And they're going to do anything sexual. It's going to be in the residence.
Exactly. So that would be totally unprecedented. Now, her doing that to somebody and then passing away during it, or killing them to eliminate a witness or so forth, that I have heard of.
Okay, so if her home is paid for and she took out loans against her home, like equity loans or something like that, I could see that. I could see her taking loans out or something like that to help her kids, buy a nicer home or something like that. I could understand that, right? 50 years, but what if she got Haloxto give money to a family member? What's Haloxto? Jaywood Mimi? I don't know what that is. What I say, Jen, and NG found out. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Oh, HELOCs. And I mean, that's definitely possible. That's definitely possible, you know? I would think the house is paid for too. So they're saying that the house is paid for. Yeah, but maybe she took out some type of equity. She was taking equity out. Taking equity out for what? And so I'm sure that the law enforcement, the law enforcement is going to know. They're going to follow that money. There was never a ransom, any ransom in this case. I mean, it could have just been Nigerians, just trying to, hook up. We don't know who had power of attorney. Don't know.
But even that is extremely rare. You could count on maybe 5 or 6 hands the number of cases that I have on record. And most of them involved people that were very random in their victims. They were just attacking anyone who happened to be female, child, adult, so forth. Many of them were drug addicts or people using alcohol or who were very ill, as opposed to somebody with a
talks
very
about it
clear
in here.
paraphilic purpose.
He talks about it in here about the
I can think of
mortgages.
a couple of cases where people only
Let me look
exclusively
for the
targeted
transcript because
elderly
he talks about it.
people, but
I looked
it's
at it earlier.
relatively rare.
Oh, yeah, that certainly is not unusual that would be the paraphilic aspect to their behavior. Sure.
So, Chris, I just wanted to sort of put that out there because people have been very curious if we think that could be going on, and I just sort of want to get it off the table. I don't think so.
Yeah, no,
Very interesting.
Go ahead, Maureen. I'm sorry.
I just said very interesting. Yeah, I was very happy to hear that. I mean, I'm very interested in everything you have to say. I should rephrase that.
We're interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean the victimology here, right, is pretty clear with the victim risk continuum. Everything is down the lower left-hand corner, very low risk. Right? She's a very low risk victim, right?
Risk below only while she's in the house.
Yeah.
When she goes out, that risk level goes up, and certainly is going to go up as in our discussion,
right?
Especially if some of those sliding doors are not locked. If she knows if how that garage door, do you have to have a mechanism to get it in or get it lift it? So I think all of those things become. Look at the shrubbery that's there. I know it's got a fence, but that's for someone that's athletic. That's not going to deter anybody. I think that's very interesting. That I've never seen that, and I think that is, and that she sits out there and does her journal. That has to be looked at.
Let me move it around because I'm going to look for this
for motive, not just the mom, the 84-year-old mother.
Right.
The reason I love this discussion, Gary, and Ann, is because, and I'm sure Chris feels the same way, but Chris and Gary, you both talked about how so much of this just doesn't fit together. It's almost like square pegs being crammed into round holes, and then everyone just is left scratching their head or waking up like WTF just happened, Right. So I think breaking it down this way is extremely helpful. And because I looked at this guy too, and it was very, first of all, I thought he was high from the very beginning. I thought he was smoking weed or something, because sometimes these offenders, when they're getting paid to do something, it falls into just what you guys are saying. If they're really poor and they're getting paid to do something they're very uncomfortable with, they'll either
something like that. They're going to be at home. We're talking about Maureen. Come on now. Come on, girl. You're dealing with fent dealers, honey. This would be a fent dealer type of thing. This would be somebody that's all masked out. Come on. I mean, the person doesn't walk quick enough for that, but definitely, I mean, if they were high on something, I would think it'd be the fent. It'd be some type of something a lot heavier than that. God. Let's move on from you, honey, because that is just not setting well with me. I don't think so. Don't think so. We'd be doing something a little harder than that. I mean, that's just my opinion,
Now, the other thing that I think psychologically is very interesting about this case,
the house isn't paid for. Oh man,
is and you alluded to it, is that it is extremely conspicuous in the victimology that she is the mother who has been featured on TV of a prominent individual. Now, There is a type of person who stalks a person and becomes fixated on a person.
Maureen, read your
Because,
book.
and this is an idea Chris has heard me talk about on this program before and elsewhere before, is that sometimes, think, for example, of Mark David Chapman, who targeted John Lennon. The idea is you go after a person because you want in history to be
Okay,
linked
y'all,
in
look at
without
this.
seeing.
Okay. So the other night, I'm on live. Okay. I'm on live, and he's probably in this chat. JD, you in here? He's probably in this chat. The last live that I did, I had a guy, and he kept coming in chat. And it's the things that he was saying. He kept coming in chat saying that he knew for a fact that Nancy was gone, that she'd been on dating sites. Yes, he did. He said that he knew for a fact that she was on dating sites and she was with many men and she hurt somebody and they took revenge out on her. So when we listen to what Chris and Dr. Gary and them are talking about, that's given me, I'm reflecting on that. And it gave me the heebie-jeebies so much that when he came in chat, I dropped the link. I said, come up on panel. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you think, why you just know, because all of this is our opinion. Everything that we are saying is our opinion. So why are you rolling up in here telling me that you know for a fact that Nancy's gone? I mean, he even went on to say that she's probably, and he did like this, she's probably buried on, a little far down from her house. And he probably dug it before he went and got her and took her to it because she hurt him, because she broke up with him. She didn't want to marry him. Yeah. So when they talk about people like this, what did Dahmer look like? Did Dahmer look like a killer? I mean, did he? No, he didn't. He looked like just a normal dude. Yeah, but Hope Floats, yeah. Yeah, dude was like, he was starting to get aggressive with me. And JD, if you're in here, let me know. Let me know that you're in here. But it was wild. It was wild. For sure. It was wild.
In John Wilkes Booth's name, right? Like they're tied together forever. That's possible. However, having studied such people, the tendency is for them to be in the profile is they tend to be a little psychotic and depressed with narcissistic personality structures. So what we tend to
Y'all hear that? Let's hear it again.
having studied such people, the tendency is for them to be in the profile is they tend to be a little psychotic and depressed with narcissistic personality structures.
So who he just explained was that dude that came up on my live. Because, and I only did that because, people were like, I can't believe you're entertaining him. But it's because, one, he either needed attention and he's been hurt and he needed to talk it out to somebody and to a chat that had a little bit of sense, Or two, and this is what I'm thinking, and I'm telling my mods, hey, y'all just let him go. You let him, he's good, just let him say what he wants to say because I'm trying to get him up on panel. And so, two, he could be in the know. Okay. And the reason why I say this because my aunt was an investigative journalist for years, and she covered a case out of Dixon, Tennessee. And it was Martha Leanne Green case. And the guy that said that he did something took Leanne Green out of Dixon, Tennessee, that, I mean, he knew things about her. that nobody else would know except the person that took Leanne, okay? He was an EMS guy, and every time that there would be a search for Leanne, he would go and search with everybody. He's searching with them. Yeah. So people are not just, your normal type of people. They got some of them got some serious problems. And the guy that took her was searching for her. People were searching for Leanne next to her unaliver. Talk about some creepy shit. You know? Creepy. Creepy. Mm. Could you imagine? You're searching for a kid? I mean, because she was about to, it was the night before her prom. Leanne Green was taken from her car, taken from the side of the road. I mean, kidnapped, gone, never to be seen again. And the guy that claimed that he did this searched. And it's in the papers. It's in the Tennessean. You just have to go and read it. Martha Leanne Green. My aunt was the investigative journalist on it. And man, she could tell some stories about some of the things that she witnessed. And that's one that she won't ever forget. She talked to him on the phone, talk about narcissists. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's listen to that one more time. Because that sounds like OJD.
Lincoln without seeing John Wilkes Booth's name, right? Like they're tied together forever. That's possible. However, having studied such people, the tendency is for them to be in the profile is they tend to be a little psychotic and depressed with narcissistic personality structures. So what we tend to see is the type of person who is very down and thinks, if I only had this special connection,
If
with Jodie,
only, yeah.
if Jodie Foster knows I love her, right? Like we saw, I go after Hinckley and I'll impress her, right? So you see these kind of people who are more unwell emotionally. And we don't really see any clear indication of that in this story because the thing is,
Right. Yeah, I agree. But I saw it last night. I mean, dude was telling me he loved me. You could tell that he was getting aggressive when he was talking with me. I mean, it was I would be scared to be with somebody like that, for sure. And it's like, was he trying to tell me? Like, I mean, then he was saying, "Well, I live in Australia." And I'm like, "Okay, so did you do this to somebody?" You know? Oh, he came up on panel. He was seriously you can tell, like, he has been seriously hurt. And he asked me what I would do. Like, he was like, "Well, what would you do if somebody hurt you?" Well, I'm not gonna go and off them. I mean, what would you do? What you saying you've done? And I explained to him, like, what I've done, when I've been hurt, what I've done to get over it and all of that. But Barbara said, put him on the map. Australia is on the map. I've definitely drawn a line to Australia because that's where, Nancy lived for a long time. She lived there for a long time with their kids. And they moved to Arizona and that's where they stayed. But it was wild, guys. It was wild. Yeah. Yeah, he called himself pretty, called me pretty, said he loved me, asked me if I was married, and then he said that I hurt men too. He even said, "Well, you hurt men too." It's just a different type of thinking. You got all kinds of people out here in the world, and a lot of people think different. You know, they think different. They cope differently. They've been through different stuff,
when that's the motive, the person comes forward right away, just like in a ransom. In a ransom, we tend to see a note or a contact 24 to 48 hours after the abduction. There's proof of life. You get the money, and it's over in a week on average.
It's very transactional for a reason.
Yeah,
There's
it's
nothing
a business
extra and nothing
transaction.
personal. Exactly. In this story, there were things that were not necessary. There were risks taken that were not necessary for for perpetrating the crime and getting money. And so it looks kind of like someone has an emotional thing mixed in there that we're unaware of, or nothing went to plan. Like, we're going to take her, we're going to make it look like somebody abducted her, and we'll get the money, but then she passes away. So now we try to get the money anyway, right? Some
Well, he is. He definitely is. I bet he is. Watch the chat. That's why I said, hey, JD, if you're in here, but that's the type of people, that we're dealing with. And some people need help. You got to call them out. You got to let them know you need help.
something like that. But I wanted to put it out there that it doesn't match the profile we would see in somebody who was like psychotically fixated on a person or wants attention or something like that, because we'd hear from them.
Right.
They'd be out there right now saying, so that doesn't make sense. The ransom thing doesn't make sense. There's no proof of life at all. And it's taking.
I mean, none of it makes sense. None of it is making sense, Dr. Gary. None of it's making sense. We're looking to you. We're looking at people like Chris. I don't know about Ann Burgess or Maureen because she said, what she said. But Chris and Dr. Gary, I mean, I've watched them for a long time, and I think that they've got, Peter Hyatt, he's deceased, but he used to be with them, and he was really good. And I heard that they took control of her estate as well, but I just can't find the proof of it, I just can't find the proof. But JD was freaking out about being on camera. It was strange. It was strange. It was a strange thing. Yes. It was very strange, guys.
Too long. There's no sexual motivation that seems to be clear. There was no robbery. So what's left?
Right.
That's what we
Well,
want.
see, he says there's no sexual motivation. That's clear, but is it clear? Is that clear? It's not clear to us. Maybe they're, they get information that we can't get. But is it clear? I don't know.
Up with this personal question, but who? So who benefits? And there's this kind of black box surrounding it. And what's been frustrating to me is that the picture we have of the victim makes her sound like a caricature. She's a nice 84-year-old woman who was going to church and everyone loved her, and she played mahjong, and her habits, she was never late for anything, and that's it. There's no meat in there that makes her human. Now, Chris, you're always very fond of quoting, I think it's Greg who says it, that people have a public life, a private life, and a secret life, right? Where did he get that from?
That behavior analysis.
Okay. Well, we don't know anything.
The mask.
I believe that Nancy is exactly who they say she was, though.
But we don't know anything. I'm talking about the people around her, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't have any information about her dynamics with anyone else who might be angry at her or might have demanded something of her.
But it still doesn't make sense, Gary.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense because it was not a fruitful endeavor. Whatever their goal was, I mean, other than to remove her from the location, what else has transpired that could be meaningful to someone? And if it is meaningful, to whom is it meaningful?
Exactly. Well, that's why I'm
Dr. Ann, what do you think?
And what do you think about this?
Well, there's one thing that has changed, and that's been Savannah's job. I think that's the only thing I could come up with is there has been some writings about what happens next to and she was the star of Today, or one of them.
Oh, you mean that she may leave the position?
What happens? Yeah. And had there been any kind of rumblings? There was even one thought that maybe she was thinking of leaving because she had just done some podcast or something. But that's a great question that you say, is what has been affected?
Exactly.
Now, it's interesting that you say that, because I just happened to, while I was cooking last night, listen to, I don't even know what was on, but it was someone talking about her job and how it's up on the chopping block now because she can't go back to work. And I remember thinking as I was cooking, well, I mean, who would know that if anything happened to her mom, she couldn't go back to work? But then I looked at how much she loved her mother. And it
Yeah.
was so obvious. It was the way I loved my mother.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah,
big
you can look at her and just be like, she loves her mother. I can tell that too. Like, I can tell that. Laura, it was okay, so it was this. Look, it was right here. It was when was this? This was Missing Nancy Guthrie. What is really going on? So this is when was this? I don't even see it. Oh, the 21st. So this was 2 days ago. And I've got it timestamped here where you can go and watch it. I'll give you a little bit. Do you want to see any of that? Do y'all want to see that, or you want to go back to do you want to see this where he comes up on panel, or do you want to go back to Chris to the panel about Nancy? I mean, because this guy is coming in my chat and he's saying, that he knows what happened to her all the way in Australia, he says. You think he's from Turkey? So do y'all want to see this, or you want to go back to the panel with Chris? Y'all let me know. What? Yes, please. You want to see it? Play it. Okay. Tell us all about it. What do you think? What do you think about this Nancy stuff? What do you think?
Uh,
You're on. You're on the stage. You can show your face or not. You can turn your camera off, or you can keep it on.
all right.
Whoa.
Oh, dang it.
that?
There you go.
I'm just asking a question. If someone is emotionally hurt, what will they do about
Well,
a
I mean,
broken love affair?
most people are just gonna, they're gonna cry. They're gonna be sad. But most people aren't going to go and unalive that person that broke up with them, right?
If the person hasn't got an alternative way to get over it, what will they do?
Well, they're gonna cry. Yeah, they're gonna cry. They're gonna try to heal. They may go to counseling. They may go to church, talk to their pastor. They may get with their friends, probably go out and party like it's 1999. Get loaded. I don't know. What do you think?
If those ones don't fix it, what will fix?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would say, they would definitely a lot of times people go into other people's arms. If they have a hard breakup, they'll go to somebody else and try to get love that way. Maybe, key somebody's car.
Uh, and this person,
Rich. Oh, Rich. Rich Glam. That's hilarious. Yeah, Middle Eastern or, I was thinking Middle Eastern or Indian. Barb says, Sean says it's Middle Eastern.
Hasn't got a friend at all.
No, he doesn't seem drunk. He doesn't seem drunk to me. Yeah, Zach is from Dubai. Yeah. South African, maybe. Yeah, if they don't have a friend, I would say that they, if they don't have any friends, but I doubt Nancy would be with a man that has no friends. Probably talk to a counselor. It would seem like somebody like Nancy is going to be with someone that's got a bunch of friends.
So you're convinced. So Nancy will not mix. That Nancy won't mix with anybody that don't have friends. Is that true?
Yeah, I would think that she would be with people. I mean, if he's an artist, I read that he's an artist. She met him on a retreat. So it seems like that. See, and what I'm talking about here is if you just Google, if Nancy has a boyfriend, it's going to say who her boyfriend is. And so it was just, there was a lot of weird things that was taking place 2 nights ago on the live. It was just, everything was just weird. And then, yeah, it's not a blackboard. It's a brick wall. You see a brick wall, but he reminds me, I don't know. If he's, I mean, it would be great if he would just tell us. I tried to get him to tell me where he was, where he's from, but that wasn't even the creepiest part. Like, that wasn't even the creepiest part. The creepiest part, let me show you. Hold on. Let me show you. And I mean, I know you're going to have weird, but he spoke of everything as fact. Like, he knew everything was a fact. Everything that had happened with Nancy was a fact. And then he starts to get a little upset, a little irritated with me because I'm not agreeing with him.
Don't ever fall in love again.
Monster
Oh my
Mash.
gosh. Yeah, this is you can tell he's hurt. That's who Dr. Gary was just talking about. Do what?
Anybody older, stay alone and don't have a relationship.
Yeah. Have you been hurt through a relationship yourself?
Have you?
Have you been hurt before yourself in a relationship? Has someone broken your heart?
Has somebody broken your heart before?
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
How did you felt?
So
I was
y'all think that
devastated.
he's inebriated. Okay.
Recently,
Yeah, I'm listening.
6 months ago. Okay?
So she got a new boyfriend 6 months ago?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know. Do you?
So y'all think
I
he's
didn't
even though she inebriated? Okay. But yeah, that's the kind of weird stuff that Dr. Gary is talking about, right? That's the kind of weird stuff. Not everybody thinks the same, We just don't all think the same.
And tough as I am, and I have a whole family of first responders, and we're all, rough, tumble, salty, the whole 9 yards. all 6 of us kids were legless for about 3 years because our mom too died our father died when I was 16, just like Savannah. And so what happens then? Your mother becomes your mother and your father, essentially. They're trying to do both jobs. And so your love for them, I want to say, grows exponentially, and it becomes apparent to those around you. So just when you said that, Anne, that sort of shifted that into a
And here they go
Which
again. They're
opens up
talking.
Pandora's
Yeah.
box, Ann, right? For the guy in LA.
Oh, golly, yeah.
The fruitcake that they, the feds took off pretty quickly. And Gary and I and many others have had this thought now. When you read the affidavit,
Oh yeah, listen to
any
this.
of-
This is good.
anybody that's ever written these things knows that it's very well wordsmithed, right? At the very end, they talk about. Let me read this because this has been a thorn that's been sitting in my saddle, for a couple of weeks, and I think the verbiage in of itself is what really gets me. So here's a guy. I'm not even going to name him. He's under indictment. He's in Tucson. He's already appeared a couple of times. However, this guy tries to interject. This guy decides, you know what? I think I'll just interject myself into the most high-profile kidnapping probably since the Lindbergh baby. Okay,
A lot of
And-
comparisons with that case.
right. And he sends 2 text messages, one to Annie, the daughter of Nancy, and the second to the son-in-law. Okay, the explanation is, well, I just did an open source intel search. I pulled off these phone numbers, and I decided to text them. Okay, fine. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I also haven't fallen off a turnip truck. Okay. And, we've all heard it before. Okay.
I love the mixed metaphor of that.
Well, Mari knows, and all of us know, you've been in that interview where you just look at the guy and say, "Do you see stupid flashing on my forehead anywhere in neon lights?" Then
when they say yes, it's really embarrassing, right, Chris?
That's right. That's when you go and say,
I agree.
I'm going to get you a bottle of water. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the text message
I think they do
that
too.
this guy sends
JDR.
to the brother-in-law when Savannah is on the news as the spokesperson for the family with her sister and her brother, who I can take Savannah and her brother off the table personally.
Me too.
We know that's not a problem. But here's the text. It's a question. It's not a text message. It's a question. Here it is. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. That is a question. Okay. And now I guess we can tie it into, the letter, the ransoms and all this other stuff. Okay. And we can say, hey, the guy, this guy's a genius because he's going to try to get the money before the other guy who wrote the letter. Okay. But then we have a problem. And that problem is there's a 9-second phone call into a family member. In that affidavit, they have not identified who that family member was, but they identified the daughter and the son-in-law. And then underneath that, okay. Question. Here it is. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. That is a question. Okay. And now I guess we can tie it into, the letter, the ransoms and all this other stuff. Okay. And we can say, hey, the guy, this guy's a genius because he's going to try to get the money before the other guy who wrote the letter. Okay. But then we have a problem. And that problem is there's a 9-second phone call into a family member. In that affidavit, they have not identified who that family member was.
Did y'all hear that? So I played it twice. I thought y'all could hear me. And that problem is there is a 9-second phone call into a family member in that affidavit. They have not identified who that family member was, but they identified the daughter and the son-in-law. And then underneath that, that's what he's saying, okay? Let's go back. This is really important. This is really important.
Try to get the money before the other guy who wrote the letter. Okay. But then we have a problem. And that problem is there's a 9-second phone call into a family member. In that affidavit, they have not identified who that family member was, but they identified the daughter and the son-in-law. And then underneath that, okay, they say the 2 text messages have not been linked to the ransom demand. Okay, fine. But why do we have creative writing 101
Right.
where they say he called a family member for 9 seconds? Well, who? Who did he call? Did he call just Tommaso? Did he call anybody, any other family member? And then you ask yourself, at least I was asking myself, going, well, wait a minute. You know, the last person to see her alive was the brother-in-law and or the daughter. The first
And I've read
people to
both.
see her
Okay.
alive.
I've read both. I've read that the last person to drop her off was Annie, and the last person to drop her off was Tommaso. So it's 2 conflicting stories and nobody knows. It's confusion at its best. So we don't know which one dropped her off. We know that Dominic created a quote fake, ransom and called and talked to one of them. There's a 9-minute phone call.
When she left the house were the brother-in-law and the daughter through the Uber when she got dropped off by the
That's what we've been saying. Like, could the family know these people that they are going after? Could they know them? Could anybody in the family go? And could the law enforcement just be saying, could the law enforcement just be saying that they're cleared?
Uber.
See where they go, see what they do.
And so you have to think and say, okay, well, they were the last 2 people to see proof of life. They were the last 2. And now you get this guy completely out of LA area who says, you know what, I think I'll just interject myself into this one and ask them if they've got the money yet. So on one side, you've got a ransom demand saying, give us money. So that's a demand, give us. And over here, you've got this one saying, have you gotten it yet? Give me. So you got give us and give me. Okay. I don't know about you, but I've always felt that just didn't fit, but
It does
I'm
not
probably
fit.
wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It does not fit.
Yeah.
It's just one more example of the absence of all that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any of these, I mean, this is almost like working 5 cases at once and
It
trying to
is.
make them all get along with each other. It's
And that's the reason why when I map the missing, it's really hard. Sometimes it's not as easy because you're looking at so many multiple angles and multiple people. And then, you're thinking, okay, she was also taken when the Epstein files drop. I mean, we have to think about everything that is factual, that we know is factual. That's, and that's a part of it. Who knows who and what's, I mean, there's a bunch of players, it seems like, in Nancy's case.
just, nuts.
Yeah, and then we get to the two simple data points or the access points. How did they get into the house? How did the family get into the house? And why is the sheriff not just coming out to the public and saying, look, here's what happened that morning when they went to find their mother. End of story, move on, nothing to see here, yada, yada. Okay?
Right.
But instead, he comes out with this other statement of everybody's off the table, no thank you, keep moving. Okay.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. But now you have a lane of communication taking place with one particular news network, NBC. Because Brian Enton just reported today that he's frustrated that he's not getting the sit downs like NBC is. Well, who's driving that conversation? I'd like to know, right? I mean, behind the scenes, who's, is that going to be a crafted narrative, ultimately? And is the sheriff under a lot of pressure behind the scenes, to say whatever he wants to say? Ann, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I agree. I think there's, when you get into the other very odd thing here is there's no information that anybody can, like a group of us can look at. They wouldn't put anything in about the crime scene.
Right. Which door did they go
even-
to? Yeah. I mean, so many questions. So many questions. Which door? You know?
And the entry.
Yeah, I think about that too. Why did Savannah reference Silence of the Lambs? Why would she reference that? That was kind of creepy, That was creepy.
Into the house. What is helpful is this timeline you put out, and there are big gaps.
Right.
And to try to figure that, they seem very reluctant to do any kind of interpersonal kinds of work. They're so kind of avoidant of it.
If you've got a military, first responder, or a government service.
Haven't they? I know that there are some really good platforms out there that just take data, lots of data, and enter it in, and it can give you some, some machine learning. Why don't they do that?
Yeah, and
Right.
Maureen's the expert in this. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is your run here. I mean, you've done this 1,000 times with
Couldn't you do that?
connecting the dots, huh?
Or even take the tips that are coming in. Would that give you anything? I don't know.
Oh yeah, the tips. There's a lot of tips coming in, and as soon as you double the ransom or the reward, the tips doubled. So they're looking at all the tips very closely, and as you all probably well know, if you have one tip that says, I think I saw someone walking down the street with a hoodie, but then you have another one saying at that same location saying they saw a tag to a vehicle, then you have another one, as they collate, they get pushed up to the top. I know they're very busy. I know they're working very hard. And I know, the Bureau isn't saying anything because we normally don't say anything. We're very disciplined in that regard.
Yeah,
I think one of the big issues.
See, you got Maureen and Chris, and they're both FBI, ex-FBI. And then you got Ann and Dr. Gary, and they're more on the psychology of it. So that's why it's such a good panel to listen to, because they come with a lot of experience, but every case isn't the same, and they know that,
Here is that not only is the sheriff talking, he's talking out of the left side, the right side. I mean, and it's just confusing. But to get back to everyone's point about how they got in, I think we can look at a couple of things and say and agree generally that they did not go in through the garage door when they got there. They probably didn't go in.
Good night, Reno.
Through the front door. They would have seen the blood right away.
Yep.
They probably went around to the back to get into that back door because they noticed it was ajar or open to some extent. And I'm relatively certain they didn't go in through a window. Now, they may have gone in through a slider. So we're down to the back door, that blue door with the 9 panes of glass in there, and or one of the sliders. But when you looked at all the images of that back door, it did not appear to be forced entry. Normally, you'll see splintering and things along those lines. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
It looks fine. And, you
Yeah.
know, and I mean, if you kick a door hard enough, I'm doing this to look. Yeah, if you kick a door hard enough, you're going to have an imprint on that door, which is what the evidence team would be measuring very carefully, photographing, and lifting also.
No,
So
not that I'm
you
aware
don't
of,
see any of
Eric.
that right there.
No, not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any kind of, are y'all? Are y'all aware of any forced entry? Because I'm not. Mm-mm. I'm not aware of any forced entry at all. Uh-uh. Yep, they say that there was no noticeable forced entry. Yep, sheriff said no. One of the earlier reports, really, from the sheriff, yeah, none of I've heard of either. Yeah. Yeah, there was no forced entry. Exactly. So how did they enter? I mean, they knocked, she came to the door. Um, they had a key. I mean, what's up? Ashley Banfield said that the back door was open. But how did they get in? Yeah. I mean, were they watching her? Did they how would they have known how to get in? That's the only thing that I'm thinking of too. If she was a creature of habit, you think she opened the door. Barb's thinking she opened the door. The only thing that I can think of is that when the garage door opened, that's when they went in, but I don't know. It's a lot of questions that need answers. They went that's exactly what he said. I mean, I'm trying here. I'm really trying hard to give all of this the attention that it deserves for something really simple, just simple. You think they broke into the sliding glass door. But they said that there was no forced entry. Every report that I've read says there hasn't been any forced entry, so I don't know about that. They've been saying that the back door was open. Phone apps will open garage doors. Yes. Mhm. A phone app can open the garage door. You think so? She's extremely deaf? I haven't read that, but it's possible. Maybe they were at the location before Nancy got there. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. If it's not family. I mean, if it's not family, could this be just to be if the guy was there, look, if the guy was there, which we saw, if you believe it or not, there's 2 pictures now that are circulating. If the guy was there 2 nights, on 2 different nights, the 11th of January is the first night, and he's just going up there. What's he doing? A little test run? I mean, we're having a little test run. People have said, "Oh, this person is an amateur." Okay, I wouldn't want to say, especially if I was in law enforcement, I wouldn't want to say that this is you know, an amateur. That means you getting this slapped in the face a bunch if this is an amateur, you know? You think he could have been casing the joint. He could have been. Just I don't get it. Yeah, phone apps will do that. the bougie. You can get you can get one that's bougie and that does have an app. Yeah, you can. Come on, cuz. Assume person is a hiker or something. Hell, maybe it was maybe somebody went in there on a damn horse. They slapped her on the back of the horse and, drove. That's how, that's how they escape because there's no car, there's no video of a vehicle. It's so dark out there. You can't even see a shadow, you know? That's where you start. You start within the family and then you go out. You go out to friends and associates and he looks calm, experienced. Always go back to the last person the last person that is seen with that person. But who was it? Was it Tommaso? Was it Annie? I've read both reports and I'm confused. I don't know which one it is. The sheriff never came out and said. They wanted to put her in a home. Nancy said no. Someone hired to scare her, but something went wrong. She also had a caregiver. Who's the caregiver? All I know is that what I'm seeing. All I know is what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is them going cars deep into the neighborhood of Luke's. I'm seeing Kayla, his buds, being locked up, held without bond. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Jack. I'm seeing Zach selling a car to Luke. We see it driving off the lot. We've seen that. Is it, you know what I'm saying, guys? Like what? You actually do see his shadow in the video, but he had the flashlight, and that's something else too. What about the flashlight? What about all if I'm carrying a flashlight in my mouth and I'm walking up to somewhere and I'm carrying a flashlight, all that dribble of saliva, you would think that there would have been some drops of saliva on the porch. If you're carrying, how are you gonna just keep all the saliva? He was carrying it for a hot minute. I mean, did they check that for DNA? Because I mean, he could have had some saliva. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, hands free. He could have. Yep. Where's the flashlight? The infamous flashlight. If he's holding it, yeah, shoes were. Yeah, and look, if you were walking out the front and you got all that blood, where's all the footprints of the blood? None of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. Hell, she could be in the witness protection program. She could be sipping on some margaritas right now in New Mexico with a new boo-boo. I just don't know. I don't know where she's at. I don't know what's going on. But I do think that the movement that we've seen is, we've seen a lot of movement. And I don't think that it's for anything. I don't think that it's just, for show. They're still gonna walk in the blood. They're still gonna walk in the blood. Is it old blood? Has it been there for a while? Nobody knew? Did she hit her? Did she hit her? Hit her. How when you get older, your thin skin. It's thinner. Your skin is thinner. And we saw in the pictures of her where she's got blue arms, black arms, basically. You know, could she have hit her arm and bled? Had those? Could that blood be old blood? But you would still think, or even a nosebleed, that That front porch having blood there, even if it was old blood, you would think that you would still have some type of something in it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. Tommaso went to Italy. When did Tommaso go to Italy? I don't know that he went to Italy. You don't see blood in the video. I didn't see the actual porch. I haven't seen the porch in any video to me. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any video of the porch. Maybe they did. Hell, they could have brought her anywhere, guys. But I mean, they've been going the things the action that the law enforcement has put forth is showing me that there is a lot of movement with these people that I've named tonight. So that's all I know for sure is that they're working an angle. You know, they're working an angle and they are investigating certain people. But, like Chris McDonough said in his live, Chris said it himself. They were wanting him to arrest someone and he didn't. He went after the people that were actually involved. He got a body, he got a conviction, and there it is. They arrested the wrong person. So, you know, and if it was some scandalous shit, are they going to put that out there? Are they going to tell us the truth? There's surveillance video, that same place the blood drops are, but you don't see it in the video, saying it wasn't there previously. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing what you're saying, but I haven't seen a video of the front porch, of the actual front porch. I haven't seen a video where there wasn't blood, you know? But, elderly people, I mean, I'm pushing there. I mean, I'm going to start getting, places on my skin. It's going to start thinning. Your skin starts to thin, and then the next thing you know, it gets all black and blue and everything. You hit it on something and it just bruises, or you hit it on something, your whole arm's bruised. It just happens like that. You know, she does live alone in a big ass house. 84, got shaken up by a Uranus return. Just shook up. If y'all haven't seen that Uranus return video, I think it's pretty good. It goes back to 1942 with what was going on when she was born. She just got shaken up. Uranus returns can do that. Uranus returns can do that. So, anyway, guys, it's been 3.5 hours. I'm going to jump off here. Thank you so much for joining. Please like, subscribe, do all that cool YouTube stuff to get my channel out there. This is a different type of channel. If you didn't notice, my handle name is Astrology for Mystics with Jenn. That's right. I'm an astrologer that maps the missing. It's innovative. Nobody else in the world is doing what I do. And it's fascinating when you're watching it live. And I go live and do it and show the map. And it's fun, especially when the action is going on and we can see it, just in real life, and we can see it. It's so much fun. Not that it's fun to map the missing. It gets, your heartstrings pull on you. Sometimes we see things and we look at it and we're like, oh God, this could be bad if that missing person is found on this angle, but it's really cool. It's different. And like I said, it's the only channel. You'll never see another channel like Astrology for Mystics with Jenn anywhere else. I mean, it's some cool stuff. So make sure that you hit that thumbs up. If you haven't, it's okay. You can still do it. Just hit that thumbs up. Make sure that you did. It's okay if you forgot. Just you can correct it right now. And I read, yeah, I mean Nancy went missing on a full moon. I mean, law enforcement works with people like me. I'm a volunteer with the Find Me group. They find missing people using people like me. Although they use a ton of psychics, but I'm only one of 3 astrologers or 2. It's either 2 or 3 astrologers that they use. So I'm just saying. The maps only work when we use the information that the law enforcement knows. So my goal would be to work with the law enforcement with this, not ex-law enforcement. And no offense to the Finding Group. I love being a volunteer for them. But I want to work with the FBI. I want to work with the bigger, I want to look for people that have done really, really bad things and bring them to justice. I want to find our kids and bring those that are responsible to justice. So my main goal is always to find the person that is missing. That's my goal. But a lot of times I'll get caught up with the chatter. I'll get caught up and, and I'm like, there's sometimes I see things that I'm like, this is not looking good. I go down the rabbit hole. I may go down several rabbit holes until I end up back at the same place, But it's fun. It's different, especially when it's live. It's a lot of fun, The Culver's thing was a lot of fun when we saw that. And then we saw the arrest there later, a week later or whenever it was. I don't even remember. The days are going together. But I love you guys, and I really appreciate the attention that you bring to the channel and the conversations that we can have. It just means a lot to me. It really does. So with that said, until my next video.